Oh, hello and shoot, Dan, you didn't tell me that one. Thank you. Hello and welcome to the Mad Cave Studios Showcase 4.0. My name is Benny. I'm known as the Comicstorian in the world of comic books in general, and I'm going to be your host today as we take you through talking to some special guests, including talented writers, artists, and editors such as Lindsay, Mark London, Dozerdraws, Jasmine Walls, and many more. As we discuss exciting upcoming titles, we're also going to announce 2021's Talent Search winners, preview the anticipated D&D series, The Last Session, and we're going to get a scoop on what's in store for 2022 and an exclusive premiere of the Speed Republic trailer. Throughout this stream, make sure you're keeping an eye in the chat as well because we're going to be doing giveaways that you can participate in. Prizes will include, but not be limited to, an exclusive Wolvenheart variant, posters, Dungeons & Dragons, dice sets, and much, much more. As I just said, my name is Benny. I'm known as the Comicstorian, but I'm not the important guy here today. The important guy is Mark London, who is the CEO and creative director of Mad Cave Studios, as well as an author of multiple series, including to, but not limited to, Battle Cats, Wolvenheart, Honor and Curse, and the Knights of the Golden Sun. His central focus is to provide a compelling experience through action-driven storytelling and immersive world building, achieving the goal to give readers more than just a comic. And now, here's Mark.
Hello.
How are you doing today? You excited?
I'm very, very excited. I'm always super excited for the Mad Cave Showcase, and it's great that you are now our host. So I'm also very excited for that, Benny.
Well, thank you so much for the invite. I always love being able to just like boomingly introduce people, you know, like it's Mark London. If I could add like reverb, we could just really amp it up, you know, like we're doing like a big rock concert and you're just going to walk out and you're going to. So
no pressure. That would be really, really scary. I mean, I would just be like, oh my God, how am I going to top this? But cool.
I try. I like to like kind of pretend it's all in my head though, you know, so it's just, to me, it sounds a lot more epic than it really is. So next week on October 27th, you have Wolvenheart number 8 coming out, kicking off Wolvenheart's second volume, the continuation of Battle Cats with issue number 4, and Mad Cave's first horror anthology, The Grim Tales from the Cave. What are you most excited about releasing?
Well, I'm always super, super excited for all things Mad Cave. Also, I mean, when there's things that I've been involved directly with or on my writing, all of them, really. I can't pick one, Benny, but if I would have to, if you would put me against the ropes and I would have to talk about just one, I'm really, really excited for the anthology because it was the first time that we were actually being able to get so many different voices, so many creatives working on a product that we felt that it was going to be worthy for the fans that have been following Mad Cave since our inception. So having writers like Colin Bunn or all the talent search winners from last year, or even Shane Volk, Anthony Cleveland, who were like previous talent search winners, and even Christopher Savella. So those it really gets me going when we have like a big collaboration, and that's really what Mad Cave Studios is all about, just to bring as many talent to our stable as we can possibly can.
I'm excited about. I'm a huge fan of horror. Like Halloween for me with my wife is always just constantly watching all the horror anthology shows, all the horror movies that come out. So the idea that you guys are going to start putting out your own anthology, has me excited because I just love everything creepy. I don't know what that says about me, but everything creepy in general gets me excited, especially in the world of comic books. So.
No, that speaks very highly of you. I mean, everybody here at the office is very, very into horror, and hopefully we're excited about it because I think that we are going to try to do more horror stories. So we'll see.
That sounds exciting. So we have a lot of awesome segments planned for today's Showcase 4.0. What are you most excited for?
Always seeing the different creators that have been taking part of Mad Cave. Again, it's always a highlight, connecting with the fans, being able to let them know what is it that we're working on. Sometimes, I mean, publishers, they're very hush-hush, and then they might talk or hint about like, okay, this is the thing that we've been working on. But with Mad Cave, we want to really be personable, try to get all the information up to our fans. So it's always exciting just when it actually comes together on the showcase. But if I were to have to pinpoint one thing, it's the reveal of the talent search winners of this year, which is something that Mad Cave Studios has done since the beginning. I mean, we know how hard it is to break into this industry, and this is our way of trying to give something back for them to actually get a leg up and kind of like get published, get something down on their resume, and then try to keep on doing. So it's like a boost for everything that they're doing. And every single year, I mean, the list grows. The level of participants that we get it's overwhelming. We only have a few spots, but it's always a thrill to read everything that everybody's sending out, and especially when we are telling everyone, I mean, who won. So that's really what got me really, really excited for the showcase.
Do you ever just feel slightly overwhelmed with all the submissions you get? Like just so many things coming in at one time?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's brutal on the team. I mean, Chris Fernandez, Chris Sanchez, even Gio, who gets to read and pick a few things. And then now Mark here, when our VP of development, that is heavily involved with everything that we're doing moving forward. It's overwhelming, but it's also humbling. And I think because it's folks that actually want to be published, or they really, really want, and they get it. I mean, what we're doing, and they really try to put their best foot forward on everything that is doing. And I wish sometimes that we could pick all of them, just, I mean, for participating, just for sending in the submission. Unfortunately, we can't do that. And we just try to be very, very objective. And we try to really highlight the voices that really deserve a shot. So, but again, it's humbling to see the number of submissions every year, Manny.
Well, that's awesome. And for those of you guys who are in chat right now, before we introduce our next segment, we're going to be giving away a special 1 out of 50 Wolvenheart variant. Is you excited about this variant giveaway, Mark?
I can. I would. I mean, I endorse it also because, I mean, I think it's very, very cool. I mean, I think that Alejandro Giraldo did a fabulous job with that cover. It's fantastic. So I think it's a very, very cool giveaway. I'm sure I just put my little John Hack up there.
All right. If you want to have a chance at winning this, then type Wolvenheart in the chat, and the mods will roll and announce the winner in the chat. That's WOLVENHEART. Wolvenheart. going to give a second for that. I don't think people realize sometimes that these chat and the delay on the Twitch takes a second for the people to put their entries in. But, we'll go ahead and move forward with the Speed Public trailer premiere. But I'll just give you one last reminder in case you were kind of half listening, half not. If you want to win this 1 out of 50 variant, type Wolven Heart in the chat. WOLVENHEART. All right. And coming up next, we're going to be talking about Speed Republic. So I hope you guys enjoy as we cut to a trailer going on about this new project. And then we're going to bring on author Ryan Lindsay and artist Emanuele. Oh, I'm terrible at pronouncing last names. Can you pronounce it for me, Mark? Can you save me on this one?
No, that's a new.
All right. Parascandolo. All right, Dan, let's roll that trailer. Hey everyone, I'm here to hold the line, but we're going to introduce this series, Speed Republic, to you guys. In the future, Europe has united under one man, the autocrat. He rules the apocalyptic landscape from corporate monopolies with a vision of unity that is gospel to some, but hollow to others. To distract the 99% from their poor and empty lives, the grand race takes place every year. A marathon street race through Europe where only one driver can make it to the end and win a life of luxury. To the winner goes the glory. Oh, are we good? Yep. All right, and I'm going to be introducing our guests. We've got the author, Ryan K. Lindsay. Is an award-winning comic book writer who has worked with Dark Horse, Black Mask, Vertigo, IDW, Comics Tribe, and runs his own comic imprint. He is Australian, and when not being a family man, he hones his writing skills. And then we're trying to fix his camera right now, but the artist is Emanuele Parascandolo. I hope I pronounced that correctly. He was born and raised in the exotic and mystical city of Napoli. This Italian spends his days working as a freelance comic artist and illustrator, and he was a student at Scuola. I cannot pronounce that one at all. Scuola Italiana di Comics, and has worked for publishers such as Mariotto and Caffari. All these Italian words. I am apologizing wholeheartedly to anyone who knows how these are supposed to be pronounced. He's a fantasy and sci-fi enthusiast and wildly attached to amazing food. I can relate to that entirely. I love food myself. Do you love food, Ryan?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I'm prepping for a barbecue later today, and I cannot wait.
Okay, see, it's getting cold here. I can't do barbecues myself. This is how we're going to stretch. We're going to talk about barbecues, I guess, when we figure out the camera issue at the moment.
Always. I mean, who doesn't want to talk about barbecue, though? I mean, we're the opposite. We're just getting warm. So I can finally get outside. And where I live in the nation's capital, we have I swear to God, 10 months of winter. It just sort of stays cold, but not cool like it's snowing and awesome. It's just rotten and frosty. So when it starts to get warm, we get out. So that's my plan. Much later today, though, because I was saying earlier, it's 3 a.m. right now, well, 3:30.
Oh, you're saying it way late. 3 a.m., I'm normally out, even with coffee. I'm trying my best. I'm pushing, and I just can't make it work at all.
Yeah, I've decided to go for the early morning route, so I'll see how the rest of the day
Sorry.
goes.
Hey,
Hey,
there he
Zin.
is. Emanuele, can
Hey.
you do me a favor and tell me how to pronounce your last name? Because I think I've butchered it like 4 times at this point.
Yeah, yeah, it's a bit difficult. It's Parascandolo.
Okay, I was kind of close for an
Parascandolo.
American
Mm.
attempting at it. Well, welcome
Okay,
to the
what
stream.
was it like?
Oh, I was saying Parascandolo. So
Yeah, it's
I was
just
butchering it.
it's almost there.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
butchering.
yeah. Don't worry. It's hard even for Italians. Sometimes they mess up my last name, so it's okay. You're doing great with my with my last name.
See, my wife is from France, so I had to deal with a lot of French last names. So I've just learned to, before trying to pronounce it, apologize ahead of time. You know, just
That's a good move. I'm gonna steal that and use it.
So we were just talking about barbecues, and I'll go into the appropriate questions. But what is do you enjoy barbecues? Are you getting? Because I don't know what the weather's like over there right now.
Here, yeah, we do enjoy barbecues, and the weather is terrible right now. It's raining cats and dogs.
So you're the only one that gets to benefit from nice weather right now, Ryan, because over here in Colorado, it's like 40 degrees. But let's go ahead and go into the topic of the day now that we have you both in here, as opposed to filling up your stream talking about barbecues. What is Speed Republic about? Which one do you guys want? Ryan, do you want to talk about this one? What is it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, your introduction for the book was completely spot on, and you've got the voice to sell it. But I'll do it in Australian just to translate.
Okay.
So we've got this sort of like it's a work of fiction because it's about like terrible like businesses and singular people making life horrible for, as you said, 99% of the other people struggling to pull things together, people struggling to have enough money to do stuff, people just living day to day, getting by, and people not really even being aware of who they should hate up the chain, which was one of my favorite sort of aspects. We've got this autocrat who has united all of Europe into like this singular sort of country entity. And with the amount of misinformation out there, some people are like, well, at least we've got the autocrat, and some people are like, oh, this person sucks. And so that's nothing like real life, obviously. That's very fictional. And then we have this big race. We have this big car race, which is like the central conceit of the story, and it weaves and winds and wends its way through Europe, and it's full of all these fiddly little rules, which I love, like where you're getting to different cities along the way, and when you get to a city, depending on different things that you can do, you might be able to leave the city a little earlier than other people, but otherwise you are stuck in the city. So it gives a sort of balance to the race. You can't just completely fly ahead across the landscape of Europe. And so there's all these little tips and tricks to sort of keep it regulated, to keep it interesting, basically. And so we follow Seb, our lead character, Seb Valencia, who is, looking to help his family. He's looking to help his father, and he's looking to, win the race. This is a pie in the sky sort of shot, because obviously with a race that has quite a large prize at the end of it, I wouldn't say that everybody's exactly following the rules or being nice, or that the rules are really there to help the racers, let's be honest. And so he's going across, doing his best to stay alive and to win, to get to the end. And from there, we explore this new Europe, which was really interesting. And under Emanuele's gorgeous art, just looks haunted and yet still lived in and super interesting. So that part of it is really good, but it also is about looking at what happens when people are desperate and what happens when you exist in a landscape of apathy, basically. And so we address all of these themes as we progress our way across Europe in what is ostensibly just like one giant car chase comic, which is quite the storytelling challenge, and was one of the reasons I really love this book, in that it's just a lot of cars, and Emanuele draws them so well. Like, so there's so many. It's so kinetic, and it's so like really beautiful, but well thought out in the way that we're going through all of these car races. So yeah, giant car race, one big Europe, and a bit of a David Goliath story, I guess, coming through, or a bit of Hunger Games meets sort of Speed Racer. in a way.
Yeah, I had the fortunate privilege of getting to read that first issue pretty early. And could you do me a quick favor, Ryan? Could you try turning off your camera and turning it back on? Because on the stream, it's not working for some reason. But I did it.
Oh,
I
okay.
was able to read it a little early, and the artwork was fantastic. As a car guy,
Mm.
I'm the car fan that can't build
Thank
the
you.
car, but I love muscle cars, and I love cars, and I love just speed. The way
Mm-hmm.
you drew the cars and the way you drew the drivers of the cars, it felt so. I could feel the cars driving, which. From a guy who reads a lot of comic books in a day, it's very easy for a car to just feel like it's sitting there and not doing anything. So I loved your artwork on this one, Emanuele. Do you have anything that inspired you to really draw the cars in that nature, or is it just came straight from your head and you just put it out there?
No, actually, when they told me I had to draw a full comic book with cars everywhere in every page, I was a bit scared because I don't usually draw cars for fun because it's hard. It's hard. Cars are complicated. It depends on the models. So I had to do a lot of research while doing it, and I had to do it fast. So no, it was a first experiment for me. I'm happy you like it actually, and it came out pretty good, I think.
No, you
It's
did an
good to
amazing
see.
job. I was really
Phenomenal.
thrilled with it. As soon as I opened it up, I'm like, Speed Republic. All right, what am I getting into here? Oh, cars. Oh,
Cars.
Dystopia Future. This is my hook. I'm in. This is gonna be a fun ride.
Yeah, I'm happy about that. I'm happy.
So, what can
Um,
readers expect from the series going forward? Because your first issue does a great job of setting up everything you just said. Without giving too many spoilers or spoilers you don't want to give away, what can people expect from this series?
Well, I think the beautiful thing with Emmanuel's art and what I tried to like really steer into, pun intended, with writing it was we want the cars, we want the chases, but you need this emotional hook because the people and the faces and the emotions really jump off the page. And so we've got this story of Seb, and we have this other racer, Shane, and you meet her, but you learn a lot more about her as the story progresses. And she's got a really big connection to our central story. They become really interesting and multifaceted as we go through, where we employ maybe a flashback here, or maybe they bump into somebody on their travels there, and we have all of these little moments along in the race. And that's why I love one of the aspects of the race is that you kind of have to stop in a city. And so whether that means you have to stop and just keep moving and idling around, or whether that means you hide and you try to find resources and things along the way, it gives us these opportunities almost for these like side quests where the characters have to sort of like explore the landscape or keep surviving. And so the two main characters really go on this sort of arc. And I think the other thing that I really love in the book is the dog heads. I don't know, Emanuele, you like, it's one thing to have an idea to, but you brought them to life. The dog heads, do you want to describe like designing them? Because I know I had a little idea on the page, but how you brought them to insane life.
Yeah, it was a very cool idea you had with them, and the look and the fact they have they wear masks, they wear dog masks, and what was really fun to do when drawing them is that they're basically crazy. They're crazy
Yeah.
people. They do some crazy violent stuff. Sorry, and so I tried to put that craziness in the design, in the clothing, and I wanted them to act savage, like they were savages, you know, and they just run and they yell and they, I don't know, they shoot their arms around and throw stuff. It was pretty fun. It was a challenge, but it was amazing actually.
Yeah, you stepped up to that challenge.
I was gonna say I was really excited when I saw the designs of the dog heads, because you introduced them pretty early on, but you don't see them. They're just mentioned in the background, and you kind of see them off in the distance. So when you finally got to see like a good shot of them, I loved the designs you did for it. Like, I love that dystopian kind of like, and I love cars. So you really brought all that together, and I could feel the energy. The designs you did, I could just feel the insanity of the characters straight from the design itself. Not just being told, but seeing it really kind of, okay. I hope these guys really cause problems for our hero, because I really want to see them more involved.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Ryan did great because you, as you said, you read about them. Sorry, and just right after they do something which is crazy. I mean, the racers, they have a purpose, and they may act against other racers, but dogheads just do stuff, and you're like, what? What's going on here? They're unpredictable and dangerous. They're so cool.
I also, when I was reading through, I really liked the idea of the cities having goals and things to do in them. Because, when I first opened it up, I'm like, all right, it's a car race, and I'm going to love the cars, and I'm going to love where this is going. But once you're introduced to that facet to your story, I was like, oh, so we're going to get more into this. This isn't just going to be a straight race with some character development. We're going to have some adventures and side quests and stuff going on that the characters need to take care of. So more unexpectedness, I guess, is the best way to put it, because I don't know what you're going to do with the cities.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't want it to just feel like it's maybe some different backgrounds, but same streets, same driving, same racing. We thought, yeah, let's have them like you get to a city and there's items that you can collect, and maybe that's going to give you time to get out early, or there's different ways to interact with the other races, and it sort of it gives them a sense of almost like wanting to be on the move or wanting to be nasty to each other. And I mean, you've already, as we said, we've already got this unstable element, which is this like almost cult-like sort of like being of the dog heads. I sort of thought of like the Wanderers with the Ducky Boys, where you just have this like unstable element in the background, and it's going to be a catalyst for like nastiness. So you've already got them that they're avoiding, and then you've got just general people, and then you've got other races, and then you've got these like elements in cities that you want to get to. So it feels like not only is the race trying to get somewhere, but in the motion of it, it's going to be like erratically moving around. And I think that gives you endless opportunities for all sorts of interesting stuff. And so it's just plucking certain moments in certain cities and just saying, all right, what does this give the character an opportunity to discover about themselves, or about the landscape, or about someone else in the race? And you slowly sort of peel those layers back. It was really nice to have such a high concept that the benefits from revealing layers, but then to also put these characters in there where by the end of the story you sort of look at Seb and you go, oh, okay, like, all right, we've gone deeper with this guy, we understand him a bit further. And hopefully, as my aim is with every story, it kind of builds almost to like the very last page where you want to get to this moment of, and this is the end of Seb's story for now. Like, you really sort of get to a point that's been built up and that's been earned and that emotionally connects with the reader. And I love the ending that we come to at the end of this story. So hopefully from first issue, you put the foot down and we start racing, and it just continues going for the reader, because it's a kinetic ride for the reader. It's a real blast on the page. But hopefully it leaves them thinking and feeling a little bit afterwards.
My next question for you is, because you guys each took a different part of making this comic what it is. Emanuele, what was your favorite character to draw? What was your favorite design out of all of that? And when he's done there, Ryan, who was your favorite to write?
Okay, so I know it's not going to be so amazing, but my favorite character actually was Seb, the main character, because I was trying to find a way to put the description Ryan made of the character into lines, into shapes, and I was thinking, how can this character be important to the story, look important, but be expressive and fun in a way? Sometimes it had to be some various aspects that were in contrast sometimes. So it was so fun to actually imagine his space. I love to draw his space because it's kind of goofy, but it's also very serious and at times. I think it was really fun to depict various expressions for him. Especially, there were many other beautiful characters, but I liked him best. I think.
That's awesome. And Ryan?
I think that's one of the best things about writing comics, is that you build this character and you know them internally, and then when the art comes in and you just see every facet of that visual represents the character that you've created, it's such a phenomenal part of the collaboration, where I'm just like, oh man, his hair tells me about him, and the way, man, your expressions and faces on the characters is so on point and phenomenal that Seb just sort of like comes to life on the page, and you go, oh my god, I can't believe like his jawline, everything sells this character and actually makes the character more on the page. I mean, Seb's a great character. Shane, I like writing her. especially because you really get to reveal layers, because Shane is just this sort of like mystery in the first issue. And so we spin out of that. Very intriguing character to write. She is full of a lot of surprises, basically, and has a little nasty streak in there, which I must admit I do like writing into a character, but one that you want to follow along with. And as much as Seb came to life on the page, Shane looks just phenomenal on the page. You get a sense of mystery and violence and a hidden side, all in just like whatever lines are in each panel. So I think Shane might have actually been my favorite to write. Whereas I think that my favorite element to write may have been the Autocrat. This sort of like iconic, massive, and yet still ethereal villainous presence in the story. I'm actually like really excited that I think it's in the very last issue. There's a moment with the Autocrat where, as I wrote it, I was like, oh, this is insane and huge, and it like sells everything I want to say about that type of character, no less this specific character. And one of those things where I initially went to write it was like, oh, could I do this? And then just sort of looked at the world around me through the last 5 years and was like, oh no, I can totally write a situation like this, and it would probably happen, and people would just sort of like move on about 16 hours later when something else came across the Twitter feed. So doing stuff like that in this story was really, really interesting and almost cathartic, I think.
I actually really liked the idea of the Autocrat, because like you just said, you didn't write him as like, okay, he is the god, the king character. Everyone needs to. It was, no, this is just happening, and we know him. We acknowledge this, but we're doing our own thing. Not everyone cares, and some people really care.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're going to have all these layers of like interpretation and feeling for it, and I think that's what we get in real life. When I initially thought of this book, one of my touchstones was Stephen King writing as Richard Bachman doing The Long Walk, where it's just this like long journey to try to get a reward, and you meet the characters along the way. And that story has a really phenomenal sort of like iconic villain as well, which is this general that's just sort of like this stoic face. And I'd sort of used that as a bit of a touchstone for this. Our Autocrat is more like a big businessman sort of thing, running things in a militaristic style. And so it lends itself to people being like, oh, well, we have someone running the show. This is phenomenal. And it has other people going, yeah, this person's running a show in a way that does not benefit me. And so this is bunk, and I'm not enjoying it. And so, yeah, we get all these different layers throughout the environment, throughout the different people that are there for all their different reasons. So it's kind of nice to not just have something that's 100% shown in just one way. And so I guess that offers up a bit of reader interpretation as well, where they get to look at it and say, all right, well, what do I think about this whole situation and this villain? I mean, I know how I feel, and I know how I think most readers will feel, but there is an element there of like, well, what do you think about this singular man running a continent, country, city, state, and controlling the flow of food, the flow of transport, the flow of information, really the flow of life across all of that. And / do you think that offering this lovely idea of an insane car race where one person gets to benefit and actually build a life is really helping the people? Right. Is it really, really giving them hope?
All right. I think it does, but I kind of like that. I kind of like that, like one winner takes it all kind of idea. So to end our interview here, ultimately, who would you guys say that this book is for?
Oh, interesting. I mean, people who love a bit of an action story. This is probably even a departure for some of my writing in that it really does feel like an action movie. And so we're looking for, readers who are wanting to follow really deep characters through something like that. So as much as it's got the big car chase scenes, it is going to dive into themes underneath it. So I guess people that are wanting to think a little deeper about the insanity of movement that might be in front of them. So anyone that's ever read a story or watched a movie and wanted to sit down for half an hour in a coffee shop and discuss it over some pie, those are our readers 100%.
All right. Do you have anything you want to add to it, Emanuele, before we move on to our next segment here?
No, I would have said the same actually, because this story has everything. It's got action and character development, emotions, and a beautiful story overall. So yeah, I think I agree with Ryan with everything.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Like I
Awesome.
said, having read the first issue, I'm excited to see what's going to be coming out of this series in general. So it was really nice meeting the both of you. But coming up next, we're going to have a live drawing with artist Dozerdraws of their upcoming series, The Last Session. But first, let's check out the Last Session trailer. Okay. Am I on the screen right now? Oh, well, hello there. We are currently setting up the live stream. I hope you guys are enjoying the stream so far, but we'll be good to go in just a couple of seconds here. You know what? Actually, I'll introduce our guest here while our production team over here is setting up everything. I lost it. There it is. First of the series, roll for initiative. Jay, Lana, Drew, Walter, and Shen have played dice and death traps together since high school. Now on the verge of graduating college and scattering, they've decided to finally complete their unfinished first campaign. But when Jay's partner, Cassandra, joins as a new player, Lana's afraid the party won't ever finish their quest. And our guest is Dozerdraws, a non-binary illustrator, comic artist, and bird parent from Germany. They've done work for Boom Studios, Lumberjanes, several German TV and movie illustration and animation gigs, and their own wrestling fan comic. They're also looking for new, exciting stories and diverse characters to illustrate. All right, and I believe we've got you on screen there, Dozer, so that you can draw what you're going to draw. I'm not gonna lie, this is my first time kind of chatting with someone while they're trying to do a live drawing, so I'm gonna.
Yeah, it's the first time for me too. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, I guess.
So, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How many hours ahead am I? For me, it's the evening, and for you, I guess it's around noon. So yeah,
I'm in the mountains, so it's only 10:51 a.m. here.
Oh, then good morning to you.
Thank you.
I already got a whole workday behind me, so yeah, this is a nice way to end the day for me. Yeah, I was thinking maybe we could ask the chat which class or race I should draw for the D&D character.
Yeah. All right, chat. What do you guys want? What class and race would you like Dozerdraws to draw live for you right here, right now? And while we wait for that delay, we do have a question that, since you're a bird parent, might be important to you. What kind of bird?
Oh, I got 5 cockatiels. They're like the small yellow ones with the red cheeks.
Oh, okay. My
The
wife's a
Pikachu
huge fan of
birds.
birds, but she can't have them, so I kind of know a few bird types.
Oh.
But I'm more of a cat and dog person myself. It
Oh,
looks like
we had cats at my mom's, and so yeah, I'm a cat person too. When I'm not with the birds, and yeah, cats are fine too.
it looks like our chat is stating a tiefling rogue.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah,
good.
tiefling seems to be the general. A lot of people want a tiefling rogue or a tiefling sorcerer.
Okay, then let's go with a tiefling, I guess.
Yeah, so the tiefling seems to be the winning on race right there. So.
Awesome.
Yeah, we were just having a talk about possibly getting her more birds, but then we were worried the cats might try to attack the birds, so we don't think we're going to go that route.
Oh yeah, that's a kind of you really have to watch out when you pair birds with cats, and yeah, it's kind of complicated.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I'll just start sketching then.
All right, I'll try to relay some questions, and if it looks like you need to focus, I'll kind of cut back on that. We're gonna learn this whole thing together, Dozer.
Yeah, let's do it. Has the jet decided on a class?
It seems like we've got pretty much every class has been mentioned. We've got rogue, paladin, sorcerer, barbarian. So this one might be up to you to decide.
Okay, I think I like sorcerer.
Okay.
Pretty much. So
I feel like sorcerer
I'll
could
go
probably
with
be the
that.
most interesting because you get a lot of the flowy robes and stuff like that.
Yeah, right.
The chat is now high-fiving at your selection at the tiefling.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
So out of the last session, because I was able to read the first issue of it, so I got to see all these crazy designs that you made. There's so many designs in one issue that I was like, okay, we have the D&D designs, we have the normal designs, and you're trying to introduce all the elements of the story right away. What was your favorite character to draw in that?
Whoa. I mean, I love all of them, and because they're so different looking, it's really hard to choose just one. I think Cass, the dragon,
The one that I
wait,
feel is
what's the
kind of the
race
main
called?
character, at least
The
in the first issue.
Dragonborn character.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is one of my top favorites. But I also really enjoyed drawing Lana.
I'm trying to remember which one Lana was. I remember Cass and the Dragonborn. Because that was a very distinct design that you did for that one. It was really amazing, but it stood out so differently from everyone else.
Yeah, that's right. The others are pretty much in their human form, or like the half orc. It's pretty similar, but the Dragonborn is really standing out, and she's really quirky and just a fun character to draw.
We have from our chat here, Amy says that they love the dwarf druid in the book that has the cute beard.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was super excited to draw a female dwarf and to give her a beard and to add all of the tiny flowers and stuff and then the pearls. That was a lot of fun to do. Yeah, I really I love drawing all the characters. It's really hard to choose favorites.
It's actually funny because when I was reading that yesterday to get prepared for today's show, I saw you did the female dwarf with the beard. And in my D&D group, because we get together a couple times a week to play different campaigns and different DMs, we were literally just having a talk about female dwarves having beards based on the statements made from Lord of the Rings. So we were having a whole debate about it because a woman that was with us wanted to be a female dwarf but didn't understand that they have beards. So when someone made the joke of how big is your dwarf's beard, she was very confused. We were just having this whole discussion about dwarf beards on female dwarves. So then seeing you drawing it, I was like, wow, that's like such a weird twist. Like immediately seeing a female dwarf with a beard.
Okay, wait, I think I need to restart the sketch. That was a little too stiff looking.
I always find the digital drawing so interesting before doing everything like 15, 20 years ago, I was an art major. So I'm just used to pen and
Mm-hmm.
paper, paints, and actual physical, but everyone's gone digital in the recent years, and it just fascinates me.
Yeah, I don't just work digitally. I usually enjoy to also work on paper, like the traditional way.
Yeah.
But when it comes to character design, you can just change things so easily when you work in digital. And I also like to work with the shapes, especially in character design. Yeah, I like I'm doing right here. I like to just start with a silhouette of the character and then go from there. And I think it's much easier to do that on a drawing tablet.
So do you get to play much Dungeons and Dragons on your own time? Or is this like your first real foray into the concepts of it?
I actually started playing while working on the last session. I hadn't done it before, and the like doing the research for the characters and everything that really made me want to try it out myself. And I found a group, and we've been playing, I think, 3 or 4 times. It's really hard to find good dates to play
Yeah, well,
for
you guys,
us.
that's one of your plot points in the last session that people can't
Yeah,
make it to
yeah.
work around their schedule. And coming from someone who's played Dungeons and Dragons since I was like 16, and I'm too old to say my age now, it's always been a problem finding just people that can get together. I've found doing smaller groups with people that are more free, and then doing like the big large one once a month to be the easiest way to do it. But that's always the biggest hurdle for people trying to get into Dungeons and Dragons, getting a group, finding the time, finding if you're going to do it in person or online, and how you want to handle it. So it's exciting that you were able to find a group and actually get in and play the game that you're getting to draw about.
Yeah, I'm really happy it worked out so well, and I can't wait to meet with the group again and play our next session.
I keep checking our chat here to see if they have any questions for you. There's
Mhm.
compliments about what you're drawing. They like the silhouette and the design you're going with already. But they're having their own
Oh, thank
discussions, which
you.
makes it hard to find things for you. They're going over with their D&D characters at this point.
Oh, but I'm glad they're all sharing their characters.
So when you're not doing your comic strips or not strips, but when you're not doing your drawings for the comics and stuff, what do you enjoy drawing on your own time when it's just you sitting down and you want to draw?
Whoa, that's
From someone else who
Um,
does what they love also as their job, I understand when you're like, I don't get much of my time with the stuff I want to do.
yeah, I'm trying to separate between work art and my own art, and yeah, but the things I really enjoy drawing, that's it changes a lot. I mean, I draw a lot of fan art, and it really depends on what I recently watched or read, and yeah, that's like my main inspiration. Um, yeah, so I think anything from the media I enjoy. That's my favorite thing to draw.
I mean, having a broad goal for drawings is not bad, and not everyone has to be like, I like flowers, or I want to draw birds.
Mm. I usually I sometimes think that I should draw birds, and since I got them at home and I can just like study them while sitting next to them, but I rarely do that. I feel like this sketch is all over the place right now, but it's usually when how I design characters. I just go with anything that comes to my mind as I put the pen on the paper or like on a digital paper.
Right. I feel like that's more of like a creative outlet. I mean, I do a lot of creative work myself, and it always starts as like the equivalent of like a giant ball of clay, and then it just slowly
Hmm.
morphs into what you're looking for. Like everyone assumes you can just sit down and immediately know what you're doing, and it's like no, there's a lot of just insanity getting to the end goal here.
Yeah, that's right.
The chat's got a question for you. What fandoms have you been drawing for recently?
I've been drawing. I've been trying to draw some stuff for Midnight Mass, the mini series on Netflix, because I enjoyed it a lot. And yeah, it's just very little sketches, but I got some ideas that I want to work on. And
Everyone's told me
other
to
than
watch
that,
that one. I haven't found the time to sit down and watch Midnight Mass yet, but everyone says if you enjoyed The Haunting in Hill House and Bly Manor, you're going to like this one.
yeah, I didn't know until I was like halfway through the series that it's from the same director and writer of Hill House and Bly Manor. And I didn't watch those because I can't really handle ghost stories. That's
Oh,
too
okay.
much for me. But Midnight Mass was just the right amount of scary things.
Well, Hill House has a lot of jump scares in it, so if you're not good with like scary things, that's probably not a good one. But Bly Manor is a
Okay, then I
lot less
won't.
jump scares. Bly Manor is more about the
Ah,
mood
okay.
and the character development as opposed to what are the ghosts for.
Ah, okay. Well, then maybe I'll check that one out.
It's a spooky atmosphere, so if you can't even deal with like spooky
Mm-hmm.
atmospheres, don't watch that one either.
Okay, I think I'll give it a try and then see if it's too much.
So you said that you've just recently kind of gotten into Dungeons and Dragons. The chat's
Hmm.
wondering what type of character do you like to play? I'm assuming if you've done 4 sessions, you just really have one character right now. But what is that character?
I play Swamp Goblin, a really small little guy, and it's easiest to describe him as like a miniature Shrek because
Okay.
he's a bit of a loner, and he has a pet dinosaur that he had to take to the dentist. And yeah, he wasn't really excited to leave his swamp, but because he wanted to help his dinosaur friend, he went on the journey to the next bigger city, and that's where our adventure started.
I love the idea that you said it's like a little Shrek. So I'm thinking in my head, you got like a donkey friend, and then you're like the dinosaur. Like, oh, this is definitely not a little Shrek.
Well, he looks even smaller beside the next to the standing next to the dinosaur. So yeah.
That sounds like a lot of fun to play. Whenever I get to actually play and not be the forever DM, I try to be a little crazier with the character, either personality wise or kind of go in a
Hmm.
path that would be a little unexpected, but doesn't always work out that way. So what inspired you to get into the world of art?
um, I think it was when I started watching cartoons as a child, and then uh, started to try and draw my favorite cartoon characters. So yeah, I started very early with the fan art, I guess. And then in middle school, I've had some friends that drew a lot, and so it became my favorite hobby. And when it came to finding out what I wanted to do career-wise, I didn't really have any other interests other than drawing. So I tried to do that for a living.
I know how that is when you're just like, my only hobby is drawing. That's why I initially went to art school before not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, you can always do something else if drawing as a job doesn't work out, but I think you would regret it if you didn't try.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a good philosophy to have in general with life. Like if you enjoy doing something, just try. You never, because then if you don't try, because if you try and fail, at least you know. But if you don't ever give it a shot, then you're always going to wonder what if. And the what if is so much worse than having failed at something and, and learned from mistakes and then either improved upon it or decided it wasn't for you.
Mm.
What type of fantasy character designs do you prefer doing? Cloth, armor, magic items, what fantasy races? I kind of feel like this kind of goes into our question of your favorite character, but if you just had free reign, what are your favorite designs to really do?
I think the most interesting thing to design for me is like playing with the shapes. Like I think I mentioned it before that I really like doing that. Like doing really, really big characters, or just playing with a lot of fun shapes, and then also reflecting that in the armor or the clothes of the character and the body and everything. And I think it doesn't really there isn't a general like a D&D race or something like that I that I prefer over another. But just there's so much fun you can have with any kind of character, if that makes sense.
It does.
Okay. I'm struggling with the drawing the feet right now, so I'm
feet is always notoriously the roughest part to draw. So
I really like feet, but I was like, oh my god, if I'm doing a tiefling, I want to do the goat-like feet, but I think not for this one. It's not working out right now. So let's give this character some nice boots, I guess.
Well, the chat is enjoying what you've been drawing over here. We got one comment of, wow, I looked away for a second to answer an email, and the tiefling is the coolest outfit now. That was fast.
Ooh, thank you.
I'm taking a second here to let the chat kind of generate some questions and let you get the feet down, since you were struggling getting that portion drawn up there.
I think they're looking right. I need to take.
The back of the robe just adds so much more depth to the whole design itself.
Yeah, and I love the what's it called? This here, the the slit between.
I don't know. The cut in the robe. That's all I know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
the cut, right.
Maybe our chat knows. What does anyone know what the cut in the back of a robe is actually called? We'll let them do some research so you can focus on the drawing for a minute. Tailcoat, apparently.
Tailcoat, okay.
We both have learned something.
Yeah. Okay, I think I need to change the face again. I want to make him kind of like an evil sorcerer.
Oh, move the horns down.
Yeah.
See, that's so cool. You're just like, okay, and the horns that I've already drawn, snip, ring down.
Yeah, the pros of digital art.
Yeah. I just remember the old days. If I was drawing up a design or something like that, it'd be like you get the big eraser and you got to like swipe it off the sketch, and then if you look at the end sketch, it's got like 80 different drawn lines that have now.
Oh yeah.
No. If you really focus in, you can see where I finalized what I was doing. I don't know why I did ink at this part because I can't get rid of that. Just ignore the ink. So anybody who wants to get into the world of artwork in general, do you have any advice that you would give them?
Like when they've never drawn a thing or just like doodled some tiny stuff and
let's
then
say they've doodled up some basics and they want to try and get better at it.
Okay. Well, the most important part is to when something doesn't turn out as you want it right away, just never give up, and maybe you need to set your sketch pad or your tablet aside for a little moment, but you always have to come back and then try again and find things that are fun to draw, and then
I think for me, because like I said, I did it a long time ago, but for me, it was always with any hobby in general that involves like design or creativity. It's when you find that thing that you enjoy doing about it. Like, so for artwork, like you just said, finding something you enjoy drawing, start with that, draw the heck out of that one thing.
Yeah.
Because you can build
I'm
your
trying to
passion
remember
out of
what. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what I was really passionate about drawing in the beginning.
For me, it was trying to, I mean, this is like, 15-year-old kid, but trying to draw like anime manga and be like, oh, I'm gonna make my own manga. It's gonna be great. Not understanding why that won't work at the time, but
yeah, but I bet you drew a few pages or even finished a
tons of
small
character
story.
designs, tons of trying to figure out how to draw it. You get all those books, how to draw manga in 30 days, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I had some of those too, and I copied some drawings from there, so that was kind of helpful. And generally, if you like someone's art style, or if you watch anime or a cartoon and you like the style, it's totally fine to copy that style and to figure out how it works, draw different poses and stuff. And then if you want to develop your own style, you can use parts of that style that you really enjoy drawing and just mesh it all together, and then
Yeah, start
over
with the
time
skeleton of
you
something you
develop
enjoy.
your own.
Yeah, and you make your own style out of it.
Yeah,
There's a lot of, because
right.
I cover a lot of comic books, and there's a huge debate about, you know, tracing and stuff like that. And it's, as long as you don't take it out into the public, you can learn off of doing that, though. You can learn the basics.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, I think the sketch is done.
Can you add things to it for 10 minutes so we can hit the timestamp?
I would color it. It's pretty.
I'm just looking at the time. We got to fill like 10 to 15 more minutes. Maybe some fire over in the background. The evil tiefling has.
Yeah, I'll add some flames behind him.
Are there any particular artists that you might draw for inspiration from?
I'm so bad with names.
So am I. Don't worry. I don't know if you saw the earlier segment, but I preemptively apologized for mispronouncing all the Italian words that they decided to try and make me say.
Oh yeah, I got some of that. I tuned in earlier, and yeah, I wouldn't have done any better with the Italian names.
Thank you for having a handle, Dozerdraws, instead of being like, and here's all the German stuff that we're going to try to make. If you had to pick one category of thing to draw from between aliens, humans, or animals, what would you prefer?
I mean, I've drawn a lot of humans, so I'm pretty good at that, I would say. But animals are sometimes they're a lot more fun to draw because they're more forgiving in sense of anatomy and stuff. You can play around more, while with humans, or maybe it's just me being more critical. Yeah, I think I'd go with animals.
Okay. Chad has asked a couple of times, but how about anthropomorphic humans? Basically furries, but I'm trying to be a little more.
Oh yeah, then yeah, I would draw that too.
Okay.
I mean, I've done quite some Cats fan art for the new movie, and I think that's kind of the thing.
The new movie, new movie with the kind of weird CG they did for everyone.
Yep, that one.
I'm assuming it looks a lot better when you draw it, and it's not weird CG on top of a human body.
my goal was to make it look weird, and then when people commented like, "Whoa, that's so much better than the movie," I was like, I don't want it to be better. I want it to be just as weird. I just can't do it.
Well, that's awesome that you were getting compliments, and you're just sitting there like, no, the wrong compliment. I wanted it as weird.
Yeah.
You've added so much drama to this scene within like 3 minutes.
Yeah, I kind of like it now. Before I added the background, it was a good idea to add flames in the back. Yeah, before that, I
feel like you've drawn
was
the villain
okay
to your
with
next book or something. You know?
Yeah, this should definitely be the villain.
It's so amazing that this came out of you just doing a quick silhouette and then building on that this whole time.
Yeah, but I think that's what it is to just start out with a little shadow, little silhouette, and then go with that and add more and more as you go, and then there's a finished character.
Yeah. Let's do this because the chat brought up a good idea. An evil name to match for it now. So why doesn't the chat? Why don't you guys come up with a bunch of evil names and Dozer will pick one that sounds the most evil for this character.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
You guys are gonna potentially name this character. Potentially. I've done enough things on Twitch to know don't give them free reign and say it will happen because. Is there a favorite element that you like to draw? Earth, fire, water, wind? Not the group, the band.
I think water. Well, not waves. I still have to figure out how to do wavy water. But like little streams and stuff, that's fine. But earth, yeah, I like drawing rocks and mountainside. So yeah, I think earth. Yep. I'm just looking over the chat right now and one undead king name them
not
Benny.
name them after me. No. I like the other names that are coming up. Augusto Combusto.
Oh my god, that one's awesome.
Yeah. It's alliteration. The producer loves that stuff. Bob, the like sorcerer. Chat's kind of agreeing with Augusto Combusto.
Yeah, it's a really good name. I think we should go with that.
And his birthday is in August.
Of course.
How do you draw casual activities? For example, a character brushing their teeth or reading a book or watching through the window.
I mostly do the pose myself, and then sometimes if I can't get it right, I take a picture of myself and then copy it from that. But mostly it's enough to just sit in the pose for a while, like brushing my teeth, and then thinking, okay, I'm holding the toothbrush like this, and then draw it like that.
Mr. Combusto wins. Well, Dozer gets to select, but obviously, since it's now on the sketch there, the winner has been chosen. The font does look cool. Nice selection for the font.
Ah, thank you.
People don't always realize a font can make or break something.
Yeah, I wanted to go with the kind of evil looking, medieval kind of font style.
Right.
Oh, I put the background on the same layer as the character. Well,
Chat says layer struggle.
yeah, I always go back and forth with the layers. I even named them beforehand, but I ended up using the layers in different ways. So, yeah, that plan didn't work out.
Just watching the design come together at this point. They're debating, is the character a chaotic evil? They're going with chaotic evil based on the fire you've placed in the background.
Yeah, I think it is.
Well, what if the fire was defeating the villain? This is like the triumphant action pose where Augusto Combusto is not looking at the person that they've just destroyed.
Oh, like the really cool character not looking at the explosion.
Yeah. They're just standing there like, I've got this. I have defeated our villain. Because you got a grin there. The grin could go like evil or like sheepish. I don't know. What's a good word for that? Like mischievous?
Mm-hmm.
You could give like a backstory. Augusto Combusto was growing up doing magic tricks with fire. And then the fire got a little out of control, so they had to go on an adventure to like learn how to control the fires, which is why sometimes when they just kind of cut loose, they blow everything up.
Oh yeah, I like that. That really fits the character.
Right, Amy is reminding me, tieflings are fire resistant. So Augusto just like enjoys the fire. So
That's really handy. Yeah.
So we got about 5 minutes left until we're going to pull in your co-creators on this project to talk to them.
Okay.
Are there any parting words you'd like to say about your creation here?
I think I really like how it turned out, and I kind of want to keep working on the character and like do proper line art and colors.
I mean, you can keep working on it, and I can chat with Jasmine and Michael, and we'll just cut back to you afterwards. You're just in your little section, just drawing away.
It's always so hard to let go when you're like really in the zone. But I think, yeah, I'll definitely save him for later, and then I gotta keep working on him sometime. Yes, I think I'm done.
All right, this is the final product as you're going to see here on the stream. I mean, it looks incredible.
Oh yeah, I can. Thank you. I can totally upload him on Twitter. I'll do that.
The people on Twitter, the ones here, you watched the creation of Augusto Combusto. Chad is saying if last session gets a volume 2, we need an Augusto appearance. Just in the background, just playing with fire.
Yeah. Please, Jasmine. You gotta include him in the script.
All right. Well, I believe, are they ready to come in, Producer Dan, in the background? So we can cut to me and I'll introduce everyone and we can move. Okay. Then let's go ahead. We're going to cut to just me for a moment here, chat. Dozer, I'll be speaking with you again in a second here while you guys prep up for that. And I'm going to introduce our other two guests, and then we're going to cut to a trailer, I believe. I'm not sure how Dan's got. Nope, we're not going to cut to the trailer. Okay. So I'm just going to introduce our two other guests. Jasmine Walls is a California-based writer and artist and hot chocolate connoisseur with a passion for stories that are fun, engaging, and critical. Her works are unapologetically queer, inclusive, and span across several genres. Everyone's last name. Mine is, why can't they all be easy? Michael Moccio, I hope I said that right, and if not, please correct me in a moment, has over 5 years experience working in the comic book publishing world at companies such as NBC Universal, Scholastic, Boom Studios, Archie Comics, Mad Cave Studios, and Diamond Comic Distributors. He is a freelance comic book editor whose credits include the international best-selling R.L. Stine's graphic novel series, Just Beyond, the Emmy Award-winning Pat McCall's Over the Garden Wall, and licensed work including single-issue crossover event Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Shattered Grid, and various Cartoon Network titles. He currently works at NBC Universal and Mad Cave Studios as an editor. And I believe we're still setting up in the background. The other, Jessica and Michael, if you guys could restart, not Jessica, Jasmine and Michael, if you could restart your cameras, that would fix our current issue here. People don't understand how hard it is, because I'm the only one on the screen right now. People don't understand how hard it is to figure out people's last names on the fly. It's never an easy task. You're always looking at it. Jasmine, thank you for your last name being Walls. I got that. And now you're going to tell me it's pronounced completely different.
You would be surprised. The first book that I had published, the Emanuele Lewis book, the library system has me listed as Jasmine Wells. And that's just going to haunt me forever.
I'm pretty sure I didn't say Wells, but now you're making me question if I had said Wells when I was introducing you.
No, you were perfect.
Okay, thank you. And Michael, how do I say your last name?
Last name pronunciation is Moccio. We should probably include that for the next round of the showcase for hosts to get like the pronunciations of all the names ahead of time on like a nice little sheet.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just have okay, here's everyone's last names. You can pronounce it all properly as we're going. You can figure it out ahead of time. You know, the best part I love about learning how to pronounce things is when you look at someone's sheet, you still can't get it right. Because I try to do a lot of video games and stuff and characters like through Genshin and stuff like that, and they're Chinese names, and it's just I'm not even close. I'm just guessing half the time at this point. Like, so how are you guys doing today? Now that we're all on screen properly.
Great, excited. I've been watching the drawing session and just blown away.
Were you a fan of Augusto Combusto?
Yes.
How are you doing today, Michael?
Doing good and excited to be here to chat about the last session, which has truly been one of my favorite creative projects to work on so far.
I got to read the first issue, and it was a lot of fun seeing how you guys handled the whole situation. I was reading through it, and it's kind of like, this is a lot of characters for you all to be juggling in the first issue. So I was just like, okay, so we got to introduce every single character, their kind of backstory, but not go too deep right away, and introduce the D&D element to the whole project in one 20-page opener. It's like 25, I think, for that first issue. So you guys did a great job of doing that, because normally I read a lot of comic books in general. It's part of my job. When I see a giant cast, I kind of initially go, oh, well, this is going to be interesting to see how they handle it. But you guys did a great job of everyone.
That was exactly my reaction when Jasmine was like, here's what I want to do. I was like, it's like 6 people.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say no, but I'm excited for you to show me how you're going to do it. And Jasmine absolutely nailed it.
Even some like big name titles, like in, Titans and stuff like that, where they're known for big casts, it's not always handled correctly. They're just like, oh, that became a background character, and that one probably doesn't matter. So once again, just great job at introducing and getting everyone a foothold in that very first issue right there.
Thank you.
Why don't you tell us about the last session in your own words there, Jasmine?
The last session is about this group of people who became friends in high school because they all were part of the Gender Sexuality Alliance, the GSA, except the person hosting the GSA club just didn't show up. So they begin, Jay, who becomes their DM, is like, has anyone played D&D before? And has been really wanting a group and now has like a captive audience. and they kind of really get into it. So in high school, they begin playing this very classic kind of game, and we kind of years now kind of graduated their first couple years of college, so they're all right on the verge of this kind of new step in adulthood where they're all going to be moving to different areas. They've all got their dreams they're aiming for. And what they want to do before their lives kind of separate in ways that they may not be able to control as well, is they want to finish the very first session that they started back in high school. And so they're gonna try and complete this campaign. But Jay has introduced their girlfriend, who has finally been able to move into town and can actually play without spotty internet connection. And Cass is super, super enthusiastic about playing, but kind of goofs it up quite a bit. And it really kind of throws the group dynamic off. And it's about this, what kind of issues that brings in, and conversations about, how are we letting the stresses of our own lives kind of affect our friendships and the games that we're playing together. Yeah, so it's definitely for me a love letter to D&D, which I've been playing since high school. And so you get a little bit of the slice of life, but we also get a lot of the fun in-game shenanigans.
Right. You did a great job. I mean, from someone who plays Dungeons & Dragons since I was in high school, I know the awkwardness of introducing someone mid-campaign and them trying to figure it out. And they only ever know one or two people at the table, so they're trying to not to offend people. So you did a great job of getting that across.
Thank you.
Michael, what attracted you to coming in to work on this project with Jasmine and Dozer?
Also, when we started this project, it was me and the freelance editors were looking at the initial concepts generated by Mad Cave, and I'm only about like a year or two into me playing D&D, and so when I saw that pitch, I was like, oh, I want this because I'm having a great time playing D&D. I don't think I can commit myself to a third game, but if I work on a series that's about D&D, maybe it'll scratch that itch. And when we were looking at the concept, Jasmine and Dozer were the two top choices for me for writing and art. Jasmine had a wonderful short that just immediately put them on the map for me, and Dozer and I almost worked together on a couple projects when I was at Boom, and seeing their style where they're able to balance kind of like the cartoony stuff but also something more in world. I thought that they would be perfect for doing that split between the scenes that are in the real world and scenes that are in dungeon and the tabletop role-playing game. When we got the initial pitch, the concept was that a very like type A person, expert in D&D, comes into this group and like wants to like meta game and like do the best that they can. And so when Jasmine and I took a look at it, we were like, what if we flipped it? What if it was the group that's like, gelled and it's like this new person that actually doesn't have a lot of experience, but is still just like super earnest, right? Coming in and throw off the group's whole dynamic without meaning to. Like, wouldn't that be fun chaos to explore? So that's how we entered into the storyline of the last session.
I like that idea because just as a fun like hobby thing, because I like to pop on podcasts on the side, I like to go to Reddit and you read D&D horror stories, and like the worst ones are always that type A person coming in, and the story normally just resolves with them being kicked out. So I like the direction you took with it, because if you were writing a story about a type A person, I probably would just be like, okay, well, at shoot 3 they're going to get kicked out. And then we're going to explore that element. And so I like the twist, flipping this on its head. It's a great idea the way you guys are handling that. Dozer, was
That's
there
something that we...
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. It's something that we brought up when I first saw the original idea, and there was kind of an antagonistic force coming in and causing trouble. And I was like, D&D groups, if they're good, are just going to be like, don't play with us.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be really hard to write a story where it's like, you don't just do the smart thing and kick them out. And I was like, but there's so much drama to be had and so much exploring to do in a story where someone is doing their best and they're being really earnest and really kind, but they're still like jacking it all up.
Right, exactly. I mean, you always that's the problem whenever I go to conventions and they have that D&D table. You're always like, I don't want to intrude. They all seem to know each other, and I don't want to be that guy who just shows up. Was there any particular element? Oh, I'm sorry, Michael.
I was gonna say, it also doesn't help that, as the title of the series suggests, the last session, like, they're picking up the first campaign that they started that they never finished. So like, this is something that's near and dear to a lot of the characters' hearts. So bringing in a new character in like the last arc of this epic campaign that they've been working on for like 4 years during this time of like huge change where they're about to graduate college, a lot of the characters are like, excuse me, I was promised a like perfect ending to this, and bringing in somebody new is making this all.
What I was going to ask is, Dozer, what attracted you to the project in general? Like, was there any particular element that you were just excited to be a part of this for?
I mean, the whole friendship and found family part was, I think that is what drew me in. Since when I started working on the project, I had very little experience on D&D and learned most of it through the comic. But yeah, the characters themselves and Jasmine's writing is just, it's so good. It's so good. Like when I got the scripts, I was sitting there laughing and crying with the characters. And yeah, that's what got me so excited to work on the project. And I'm really thrilled that it's going to be published soon.
Well, that's awesome. What can you tell us about the AHS GSA crew? Who are they and what makes them integral to the story itself?
Oh, is this another question for me or for
whoever wants
Jasmine?
to chime in for this one? This one isn't very directed. How about you, Jasmine, since you're the writer for the project? What makes them all integral to the team?
Sure. We have Jay, of course, he's the DM. Not going to have a game without the DM. The DM puts in all the behind-the-scenes work and is kind of, appears to be at least, the most put together of this crew. They're the ones who's kind of been the driving force throughout everything. They're kind of like the solid rock friend. You have Cass, of course, who's dating Jay and is the newcomer. She's super earnest. She's that friend that tries a little too hard. You can't really like hate her for it.
Right.
So she's in there. She's doing her best. She's not doing a super great job of it, but she's trying. Then you've got Lana, who's kind of the driving voice of the group of friends. She's the most kind of outgoing and in your face, in good and bad ways. She's very strongly opinionated, and she's the one who kind of clashes the most with Cass, because she has a very certain idea of how this game should go, who should be playing what role,
right.
And when you deviate from that, she's not super happy. We've got Drew, who is Cass is the Dragonkin Bard, so she's the one who's very outgoing, and then you have Lana is the rogue of the party. She's the half-elf rogue. And then we've got Drew, who's the human Hell Knight cleric. Probably the only multi-classer in there who was like, I can't quite decide if I want to be a fighter or a healer, so we're going to do a little bit of both.
Right.
And Drew's very much a very calming presence. Is oftentimes like the voice of reason, hard to rattle. And there's Shen. Shen is also kind of pretty outgoing. She's very much a nature lover. She wants to be a photographer, and she's the druid of the party. She's the dwarven druid, who's just so much fun to write. She's the one kicking in doors. She's like, I love nature, but let's fight.
I think every group's got one of those players where they're trying to role play something, but they still want to kick in a door and be that goofy, I'm here to save the day.
That's oftentimes me.
For our group, it's the guy who's doing the producing right now. But yes, everyone's got that guy.
Yep. And then finally we have Walter, who I was one of the descriptions I used when I wrote Walter's character the first time was I have the name and personality of a middle-aged accountant. Walter's very introverted, kind of has a hard time speaking up for himself, but gets to kind of live the opposite of that in game. And in game is this incredibly charismatic ranger, who is the one who's charming people left and right until the bard shows up. So yeah, and they're just like a crew of people that I imagine that I could have met in high school and befriended pretty much.
All right. Let's go down Jasmine, Michael, and then Dozer. But which is your favorite character?
Oh, geez.
Want to go backwards?
I feel like every character is a small portion of myself.
So you like them all? That's an answer. You can say that.
Yeah. They're all good. I love them all.
But now, Michael, she took the easy answer, so I need to know your favorite.
I have to go with Lana because she and I, like, as Jasmine was describing with Lana, where she's like, if you all could please just stay on task so we can get through this mission. Like, I'm just begging you all to use your abilities in the way that they are meant to be. Like, that's how I am with a lot of my parties that I've been in, because a lot of them, like, are very scatterbrained and want to, like, go anywhere except for where the DM is clearly guiding you. And so I'm always like, everybody, please, can we not talk for 30 minutes outside of this door and instead just walk through the door? I'm begging you.
I need one of you in
Lana and I vibe.
Dozer, which one's your favorite? I think we may have asked it earlier, but for people who are just joining us, which character is your favorite to draw?
It was Cass, the dragon bard, and Lana too. So I got two favorites.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So everyone likes Lana. Got it.
They did this incredible design for Cass's Dragonkin Bard that had circle and triangle like lace connecting the strap of the guitar, the musical instrument that Cass uses. And like in the beginning I was like, oh no, this is so complicated. Are you really gonna do this every time? And Dozer did it every time, and I was like, amazing. You signed yourself up for that and you delivered, and that's incredible.
I had to stick with it.
Have you ever made one of those decisions, Dozer, where you kind of regret it like 6 months later? Oh no.
Not with the guitar design. No, that was wasn't a bad decision.
There were actually like very, very, very few times, I think maybe like 3 max throughout the entire series, where I was like, I think we're missing an element of the costume. So like for as intricately designed as all of them are, like that's incredible. That is truly, anytime I talk to another editor about Dozer's work, I will be bringing that up to be like, they did this incredible feat. I don't know how they did it, but I'm so grateful that they did.
Nice.
I think most of the notes were that I forgot a bird, one of Shen's birds that was in the frame suddenly, and then 2 frames later, 2 panels later, sorry, not frames. Then it reappeared magically.
We gotta have a point of continuity for this bird that we've decided will stay with them forever.
That's awesome.
Magical, but not that magical.
You guys have kind of described it here, but what has it been like just working together about this? Because it seems like you have a great dynamic about writing the story and keeping a continuity of even things like a bird or a guitar strap. So,
I mean, for any project, like, oh wait, was that a question for Jasmine?
It's for the table. I mean, imagine we're at a convention. This is the table. You guys are all just here.
I was just gonna say that, like, for the series, for any series, right, casting is like 80% the metric of the success of the book. And Jasmine is such a strong writer, and Dozer has such a strong background in animation that I think translates really well into this humor centric series. Like the different takes and panel reactions are just so good, and of course, like balancing all of those different character elements, like this is truly what I consider to be the dream team for this comic specifically. Like I could not imagine any other pair or duo doing this in the way that they did, and as well as they did together.
I agree. It's funny when getting hired onto a comic, because as a writer, I don't always know who the artist is going to be. But I always like to write to the artist's style. Because if you write a really, really goofy, cartoony comic and your artist is someone who does a really realistic style, that's not going to translate well. So,
right.
So who I was working with, I very first started story, and we'll see, who I end up with. And it's like, it's like not like just getting a lottery ticket and being like, well, what are the chances? And then winning. Like you see the art and you're just like, yes, I don't know how I got this lucky, but I'm not going to question it. It's been absolutely fantastic working with this team. Every single element has been just a dream. Like you hear horror stories about working in comics, and this was the exact opposite. It was everything you could possibly want. Like Dozer's art was fantastic. Every time I saw a new character design, it just blew me out of the water again, and I was just like, oh yes. Thank you for turning like these words I put on a page into something as cool as it is. And working with Mike has been just amazing all around. This was just a fun experience, and that's not something. It's really fun and humbling to say that was an experience I had. Was that I got to have fun working with this team at every step.
That's always the best experience you could have at any job, just having fun doing it. Dozer, what's it been like working with Jasmine and Michael?
Oh, I can just say exactly the same as Jasmine said. It was amazing to work with these two. Like it was so much fun, and it felt like not like a 9-to-5 job where you just I'm going to work now and then just get it done and stuff. But it was always so much fun. It was a great experience, and I'm really happy that I could spend the last year, or I think it was longer than a year, working with Jasmine and Michael. It was a great experience.
That's awesome. I got a feeling this last question here, Michael, is probably more for you because you get to be the editor, so you come up with all the blurbs. But who would you say that this book is for, and what are you hoping readers will take away from the series?
This is truly, I think, for anybody that's in that same kind of age bracket as the main characters, right? Anywhere from seniors to just graduating and even further along in your 20s, right? Because that's such a period of change, and all of these characters are going through so much change. And really the message of the book is it might suck sometimes in the moment, but we promise, like, it'll be totally okay because you've surrounded yourself with friends and people who love you. And that's really apparent as you read through the issues, and that's definitely what we want people to take away from that.
Awesome. That's a good way to put it. All right, guys, as we introduce our next segment, we're going to have a special giveaway, and you'll be able to win the Last Session bundle. Our giveaway is around you guys. Your project, The Last Session, is going to be giving out posters, bookmarks, stickers, a dice set, which I wish I could get, and enter to win by typing campaign in the chat. That's CAMPAIGN, campaign. You type that out in the chat, and the mods will take care of it and let you know in the chat if you were able to win. Thank you so much for being here, guys. I'm going to introduce our next segment, but it's been a joy chatting with you. And coming up next, we're going to have a handful of cool segments, starting with transmissions from the cave's best moments, moving into Meet the Mad Cave Artists, then the Mad Community, and a retailer panel hosted by Manny Castellanos. I maybe got that one right. I hope you guys enjoy in the chat. And once again, thank you, team, for The Last Session for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Everyone was waiting for the kind of culmination of your words of wisdom as to just kind of living once and doing it.
Yeah, like I'm just a firm believer in that. Like, life is more than your political leanings or your, there's just so much of that now. Like, everyone's so worried about everyone else's thing that we don't like and what they don't like. It's what a waste of time. I've always thought, like, if you have something you want to do, go do it. Stop being so worried about what other people are doing. That's like kind of been my thing, right? And ever since I was a kid, I just wanted to do this. I wanted to do art. When I discovered that I could sing, I thought, that sounds awesome. Let's keep going on that. I mean, that's kind of what life is, is just going after the things you love and doing it. It's not about like, it's annoying when people talk about like, success stories or failures, because there really isn't any. You can't really lose if you're trying to do your thing. I mean, losses are just learning experiences, I mean, I would say that for anybody that's tried to do anybody that hasn't won like something like Mad Cave's contest, for instance, will you do it again next year?
Yeah,
there's no failures. Like, the only failure is if you get defeated and don't try anymore, so that's my words of wisdom. What do you think?
I think you nailed it. Totally. So, for those who aren't familiar with you and your work, and of course have not read the last session yet, what can they expect from the first issue of the last session?
I think you can expect that it's not going to be your usual sword and sorcery adventure. We really wanted it to be something a little bit different while having all of the fun nostalgia of a gaming session. So it's half slice of life, half in-game fantasy mode, which was really fun to write because we get to talk about a lot of stuff that's like, you're hitting it. All the characters are hitting an age where they're just finishing off their first couple years of college, and they're all kind of moving in different directions and very anxious about it because, they've been this tight group of friends for 4 years. And then you have someone new coming in and, kind of messes with the dynamic somewhat. But at the same time, you also have the in-game action. So you get a lot of that fun, big fantasy adventure feel at the same time as you're getting this kind of slice of life. A little more low stakes kind of
that's awesome.
Feel to it.
Right. You might not lose your favorite character, but your favorite character might lose their favorite character.
Yeah.
And that matters to me.
Yeah. I think you can also expect a lot of great interpersonal relations between the characters. Jasmine's done such a phenomenal job in building out like a fully fledged ensemble cast of like 5 or 6 characters that are just, they all have their own goals and motivations and backstories, and like with the new addition of the DM's partner becoming a player, like it just kind of throws everything off kilter and off balance, and it's them just like dealing with it as any normal friend group would have to deal with. And I think Jasmine did a great job of having that play out.
Same time.
Exactly.
So then, in doing this, how did this piece come together? How did it come about? Was it something that you had just kind of like pitched in a sense of like, here's my idea, Mad Cave, let's make a thing? Or was this something that was like collaborative initially?
Very collaborative, I think. It was, I got the initial kernel, and then I came back and said, here's all the changes I'd like to make. What do you guys think? You tell me, hey, if you have some freedom and change this up, I'm gonna go a little wild with it. And then a lot of going back and forth and kind of hammering out little details and making sure it's all really steady. And that's where editorial is just, you can't get better than having a good editor at that stage. It's so good. It makes the story so much better.
I think a very big one, and one that I tell people now as well, is wait, what was it? Don't worry about finishing stuff. If you want to get into comics, just draw however much you want of a comic, and if you never finish it, then you never finish it. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. Like, don't stress over it. It's fine. It's like eventually you're gonna have to finish stuff anyway. So while you're practicing and learning, just don't worry that much about it because it's going to give you a lot more anxiety than you should be dealing with, honestly.
Yeah, and that might stop people from starting at all if they're worried about not being able to finish.
Yeah, because I've had problems with that as well. And, you know, when you don't finish something, you always get that in that mindset of like, oh my God, what am I doing? I didn't finish, I need to finish. But you lack the inspiration to finish, so then what are you supposed to do? I think it's easier, like, either take a break, do something else, come back to it later, or just maybe that's it, that was all that was gonna come out of that, and you just drop it and move to the next project.
Yeah.
It's better to diversify than to cry yourself to sleep for 3 weeks because of a simple drawing.
Yeah, that's really good advice. That's really excellent. I'm sure a lot of people can benefit from that. Oh my goodness, look at their faces coming together. I can't handle how cute they're looking.
No, they're so cute in the comic. Please read it. I got to read it and I was like, oh my God. Like, I knew I was gonna like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, not to spoil anything, but it's my favorite. Besides my own, obviously.
Right, of
but
course. Yeah.
Of course. But out of all of them, I thought from the beginning, I thought this was gonna be my favorite, and then I got to read it 2 weeks ago or so, and I was like, yeah.
That's very cool.
It's my favorite.
Oh, that's so wonderful. I'm glad that it lined up like that. If we can and decide on a winner, did we get to show them your favorite dice? I've got mine out. While we're talking about dice, I've got mine here. Mine are obsidian. Yeah. These are my favorites.
Let's do it.
They're all black on black obsidian, and those are my babies.
I have gotten as a present the set for the warrior shaped dices.
Whoa, those are so cool.
They are. And I like that I was rolling a monk using d10s that are fists as my damage. So that was super fitting. And oh well, you got to have a metal dice set, which is mandatory, I think.
Of course.
And some, elven dices, which I inherit. Yeah, it is for the noise.
It's
absolutely, just to annoy the people in the chat when you roll them on the streaming. This is the loudest possible noise to disrupt the ambience. Roll that 20 and fail horribly.
So, for those who are not familiar with your work, what can readers expect from Nightmare in Savannah specifically?
Nightmare in Savannah is weird and queer and spooky, and it's about friendship and
That's my Twitter
love,
bio.
but also murder. Oh, well, not quite murder.
Okay.
Almost murder.
Weird, queer, and spooky is how I describe myself, so that's great.
Target audience achieved.
Yeah, I think that's excellent. After reading it, I'm like, yeah, that is exactly how I would describe it. It is weird. It is queer. It's one of those stories that like you think you kind of know where it's going, and you're like, yeah, I understand this like genre and this kind of setting. It twists you. I love that.
Yeah, I'm big on the twist. I don't really want to walk down well-trodden paths. I mean, there's lots of wonderful stories that, you know, take that same path, and I love them. Mm-hmm. But, you know, my weird brain is like, let's go that way.
Yeah. What, and this is another like high school centric question. We're really diving into high school you. What was lunch like when you were in high school? We had bouncing chicken nuggets.
I mean, it's similar actually. The grossest pizza you can find.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And like I think every day there were like mozzarella sticks that were basically just
you have to do that.
Yeah. There were some nondescript cheese in a batter that was fried.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
And then
very healthy.
There was not very many healthy options.
And were you a cafeteria kid or a lunch from home kid?
I became a cafeteria kid because I would always leave my lunch at home. I would consistently forget. So eventually my mom was just like, we're not doing this. Just go eat at school.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm not going to keep wasting my time making it for you. Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty much.
Understandable.
What about for you in high school? I know you had popular private school. So like it has to have been better than these mozzarella sticks.
Oh, from what I know, it was good, but I've literally never stepped foot in the cafeteria, so I have no idea.
Really?
Yeah, honestly, until like halfway through high school, I didn't even know we had a cafeteria.
So were you a lunch from home kid then?
Sometimes, but like most of the time, because I don't know what time school ends in America, but for us, like at noon, you were pretty much done. So most people would just wait and then we'd go across the street at the McDonald's.
Oh, that's so much better.
So much better. Yeah,
or
no,
just go home and
like
eat. So.
3:30 p.m. here.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
So like
why?
Yeah.
Well,
why would you do that to yourself?
it's an excellent question.
It's not like we chose.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna show you my cat right now
God, hello.
because she can't stand it when I'm on a video call.
Oh, I love her.
And she will drive me crazy. So
What-
this is my cat Tag.
Tag.
She is, yes, because I was walking down the street and a little streak of lightning came out of the woods and started loving on my legs. And I was like, okay, where are you from? So I tried to take her to different places and they were all like, that's not my cat. And so I started running zigzags down the street to try to shake her. And she just kept catching me and playing tag. We were playing tag. So that's how she got her name.
How I got my cat stories are my favorite stories because I feel like, I mean, this is like a thing that goes around on the internet a lot, but people are always like, oh, I adopted my dog. I actually flew to Seattle to meet up with the person who I adopted them from. And cats are always like, so I heard a rumble in a dumpster, right?
Right. It was either a raccoon or a cat. 50-50, I just reached in there and grabbed.
Exactly. I have 2 cats of my own, and I found one of them at a funeral, just wandering around at a graveyard.
Perfect.
So that's the kind of cats. I love a cat story.
Hello from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I'm Shane Connery Volk. I'm the artist on Nottingham, and welcome to Mad Cave.
Italy. I am Gaia Cardinali, the artist forming the Shadow of the Throne, and welcome to Mad Cave.
Hi guys, from Bogota, Colombia. I am Mike Camelo, artist and line art for Battle Cats, and welcome to Mad Cave.
Hello from Italy, I'm Luisa Russo, one of the artists for the anthology Grim Taste from the Cave, and welcome to Mad Cave Studios!
Hello from Italy, I am Emanuele Parascandolo, the artist for Speed Republic. Welcome to Mad Cave.
from Rome, Italy. I'm Antonio Fuso, the artist of Stargazer, and welcome to Mad Cave.
Hello from Bogota, Colombia. I am David Escobar, the artist for the Green Taste from the Cave, and welcome to Mad Cave.
Welcome from New England. I'm Rowan McCall. I'm the artist for Nightmare in Savannah, and welcome to Mad Cave.
Hello from Richmond, Virginia. I am Janzaka Bantam Perry, the artist for Tiger's Tongue, and welcome to Mad Cave.
Hello from Uruguay. My name is Nicolás Faliotico. I'm the artist for No Good Deed in Green Tales from the Cave, and welcome to Mad Cave.
Hello from Spain, I'm Esteladia, the artist and colorist from Pose on Sync, and welcome to Mad Cave.
Hello from Barcelona, Spain. I'm Xavi Tarrega, the artist for They Fell from the Sky, and welcome to Mad Cave.
Hello from Costa Rica, I'm Catherine Lobo, artist for Good Game Will Play It, and welcome to Mad Cave.
Hello from Italy. I'm Luca Romano, the colorist from Nottingham, and welcome to Mad Cave. Hello from Italy. I'm Luca Romano, the colorist from Nottingham, and welcome to Mad Cave.
from Bandung, Indonesia. I am Ornia, colorist of Dryfoot and Wolfenheart, and welcome to Midgate.
Hello from London, I'm Roman Stevens, one of the colourists on Grim Tales from the Cave, and welcome to Mad Cave.
Comic book stores are the backbone of the industry. They bring a sense of community that is what comic books are all about. You need that. You need those type of places. So everything basically just came to a sudden stop, and we couldn't do anything. But in the meantime, we kept on working.
You know, there's comics for everybody out there, I think. So whether you're just learning how to read or, you know, you're 98 years old, there's something for everybody.
There's a lot of publishers like Mad Cave that are really coming out with content that speaks to people outside of Superman.
Because there's a lot of stories out there that are really good that people are missing out by just sticking to the spandex heroes.
We put it out there for a reason. It's because we believe in the stories. We believe that they bring something to the table. Again, whether it's a personal story or whether it's just action, fun, escapism, for you to actually have a good time. We just want to matter.
I don't think it's going anywhere. I don't think it's dying. I think if anything, it's becoming more healthy and it's becoming more of like a mainstream form of entertainment.
Well, I think comics will always be here forever, whether it's in print or digital form. It's one of the great inventions that have really come from this country.
This industry is great in itself. It brings so much joy and greatness for so many different reasons. We would need more time. But so, yes, support your local comic book shop.
My name is Stephen Corca, and we are at Corca Comics in Miami. The comic book industry, as I'm sure you guys know, is built on a loyal fan base, and with comic books and the publishers constantly coming out with books and continuing stories, it creates that loyal fan base that just keeps coming back month to month to get the next chapter in their favorite character's storyline. The art of comic books, it's such an it's like an American pastime. It's so important to the pop culture and just the overall culture of America. You know, it's one of the great inventions that have really come from this country. So we can't lose sight of that, and I don't think we will. I think comics will always be here forever, whether it's in print or digital form. There's something for everyone now, and as we highlighted earlier, there's a lot of publishers like Mad Cave that are really coming out with content that speaks to people outside of Superman.
My name's Tony. That's as far as I'm going to go on that one. I'm here at Tate's. I'm revamping and redoing all their comics. There's times when we do these events that the lines to check out will wrap all the way down to here, because it's just crazy how many people. When we do the tent sales that we were doing twice a year, there would be people that would line up out front, and it'd be like a herd of people rushing the tent to try to get the best bargains. And I used to add to that by putting what I call Easter eggs in with the comics. So these would be like, you know, first appearance of Deadpool, first appearance of Harley Quinn. Maybe not mint, but it's stuff people want. And I'd love to see when people were going in like, I found it, and they would get all excited and everything. And to me, that's what this is all about, is the enjoyment and the excitement of this type of genre, this media. I've known Tate longer than anybody else here, even before his wife, because the store I used to run in Orlando, which was very much like this, he used to come up and visit. And when I ran into my old customers up there, they're like, well, what's Tate's like? And I'm like, you remember my old store? And they're like, yeah. And I go, imagine if that kept growing. And I go, and that's Tate's. Because there's a lot of stories out there that are really good that people are missing out by just sticking to the spandex heroes. So I've gone to some comic shops that the people just don't know what they're talking about, and they're in there. And I understand, you know, it's a business and you gotta make money, but I prefer getting the right product to the customer. I don't want to sell them something that, you know, they come back and they, oh, that was a piece of crap. Why'd you make me buy that? You know, I want them to enjoy what they're buying. Been pretty successful so far.
My name's Abby, and we are at Gauntlet Comic Books. Just in this area, we were talking about there's so many people down here that sometimes you feel kind of like lost, and you're just one of millions. And here, that's one of the things that I like most about having this shop, is that there are people that come to the shop that obviously they like similar things that you like, and you can connect with them and get to know them, and they get to know you. And I definitely feel like there's a strong sense of community that I really appreciate from. We saw a huge number of people coming in that wanted to start collecting, and even the value of a lot of the older comics, a lot of the key issues skyrocketed over this time period. So I think, I don't think it's going anywhere. I don't think it's dying. I think if anything, it's becoming more healthy, and it's becoming more of like a mainstream form of entertainment. Whereas I think before it's had, you know, ebbs and flows, but I think right now it's unbelievably popular and people are really embracing it. So I don't think, and I hope I'm right, I don't think comics are going anywhere. I don't think it's a dying business, no.
Hey everyone, hope everyone's enjoying the showcase today. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's retailer panel. I am your host right now for this panel, Manny Castellanos, the Retail Relations Manager for Mad Cave Studios. And with me are two amazing retailers. We have Lee Heidel of Neighborhood Comics in Savannah, Georgia, and Natasha Curtis of Zeppelin Comics in Benicia, California. Every comic book store is different, and I love highlighting the different stores because comic shops help create that comic community that we all know. And I couldn't have asked for two better guests. Lee, Natasha, thank you again for joining me today. How are you guys today?
We're good. Thank you for inviting me. Absolutely, Manny. Thanks so much. Always a pleasure to chat.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for always supporting Mad Cave and agreeing again. So we'll just get right into this. And my first question for you guys and for everyone listening, what got you into comics so much that you decided to like open and run your own store? Because like no sane person like really like opens a comic store, but really passionate people do. So what was the reasoning behind that?
Natasha, I'll let you start. Yep.
Oh goodness. Okay, cool. Strangely enough, it was my youngest kid that really brought home the aha moment of this is the industry that I need to be in and need to help build. Having been, a casual comic book fan growing up, and then, of course, into all the wonderful sci-fi and fantasy and superhero stuff. But I was never a real big collector at the time. And then when our youngest could hold a crayon, she was drawing superheroes. And then by the time she was 7, we were looking for something to do. We're in the Bay Area. And at the time, WonderCon was still up here. And we were looking for something to do on the weekend. And WonderCon was at Moscone. It was the Sunday. It was only $10 to get in. So we decided to take our 2 kids to the city to check out a convention. We'd never done one of those before. And her brain exploded. She sat down, 7-year-old kiddo, sat down with these creators and these fan artists and was going through their portfolios and pointing out all these characters, even these esoteric characters that I had really never heard of, and having full-on conversations. And I realized, oh my goodness, this is how her brain works. So we just started going to more conventions and more stores, and I fell in love with books. I think I fell in love with Buffy the Vampire Slayer because it picked up right after the show ended, and being able to see as much engaging storytelling being told in comic book form as I had received in an episodic TV form. That's my aha moment. So we were going to stores and conventions and realizing that this is an industry that I needed to be part of. So it came a little bit later in life for me, the comic book obsession. But yeah, I typically credit my youngest kiddo. She's going to be 18 next month. So
oh, wow.
It's been a bit.
Well, I'm right with you, Natasha. Honestly, my kid has a big part in our store's origin story as well. And like you, this was kind of a second career for me. I had a whole other career before, but I grew up really kind of obsessed with the Super Friends cartoon back in the early 80s. At lunch, I had the lunchbox, and all of our friends would pick who they would be off of the lunchbox and play in the playground. So from my earliest memories, those characters are a cornerstone of friendship and of camaraderie and of fantasy, especially Green Lantern, that idea of your imagination being the strongest weapon in the universe. But as I grew up, I didn't have access to a comic book store, so it was just the occasional pickup at a drugstore or at a grocery store, wherever you could find a spinner rack. Until I got to college, which had a wonderful collection of different types of comic book stores at that point. There were the dungeon-esque, dark, lots of dirty corners, and then bright, clean, modern that focused on newer books and kind of everything in between. But again, as you kind of grow and you change, I kind of got out of comics after college. But my daughter was about 5 when she discovered the comic book collection, the comic book shelf. And she was so excited about learning about different characters, or even outside of your traditional major books, that storytelling technique. She loved to draw, she loved to create, and comics made a lot of sense to her. And so we started searching out our local comic shops. And at the time, there was not one that was really friendly for a 5-year-old girl to come in and pick out a book. You know, the My Little Pony books were racked next to the Walking Dead books, and I still don't really know why. So as we traveled and as she got a little bit older, we started going to shops in different towns whenever we would visit. And we found that there was a great opportunity there to create a shop that would be welcoming, not just to young readers, but to new readers of all types, or people who maybe felt on the outside looking in on these different kind of club mentalities that we've had over the years. So that was really where it came from. My daughter is 15 this year, so not quite 18, but we're right around the corner. So they're going up fast. Right? Absolutely. So being able to create a place where families and people who haven't really found a home in comic shops before has been extremely just gratifying to be a part of, and to learn more and more about this wonderful, diverse community we have of readers and creators and books. It's the best.
I didn't realize how similar our stories were, Lee. That's awesome.
I know, we should have talked beforehand, and I could have come up with a new story just to...
I knew this beforehand, clearly. That's why I got both.
Manny is the constructor here.
I honestly, you guys make me like, I love my parents, but I'm a little bit jealous because I wish like they like got into like comics when I was getting into comics. I got into comics around like 10 years old. It was mainly graphic novels. And it wasn't until high school, because there was a comic shop like 5-minute walk away from my high school, where I would like, every Wednesday it was either comics or lunch. And I mostly choose comics. So I'd starve on Wednesday and eat at home. But usually it was worth it for me. So I never complained that much.
Nice.
But I love you guys' story about like just really fostering in like a new sense of community. Because like definitely I'd say for the past like 10 years, like comic book stores have really drastically changed, I'd say, in those past 10 years for the better. And you guys are definitely like one of those retailers that are like spearheading that, it looks like. So that's amazing to hear.
Well, Natasha's store is beautiful. I have not been in person yet, but I drool over the photographs of it. And I can't wait to have a chance to go and see it all. So well put together, such a beautiful space. So I can't wait. And so if anybody is in their neck of the woods, you got to go check that place out.
That's so sweet. Thank you so much. Yeah. And I think, like Lee said, we really look to engage the community in every aspect. So making it open and welcoming environment to where kids feel comfortable, new readers feel comfortable, they don't feel overwhelmed. And that really goes that starts at the door.
100%. Yeah. I've seen photos of both your stores, and like, if I could buy a comic book from every single store, I would. I almost did it during like early on the pandemic. We'll get into that later when I ask that question. But when you guys when you guys first started to open your store, what were some of like the main challenges you faced in the beginning, and what are some like current challenges? Well, we're all facing current challenges right now, to be honest. But so I guess in the beginning specifically, what were like some of the challenges you guys faced?
For us, it was extremely the learning curve of distribution channels and getting periodical comics and magazines in the door, really what that workflow is like, how to manage and how to stay on top of all of the different ordering dates and release times. Luckily with us, we had kind of a long growth plan. And so we started doing a lot of that research and talking to other retailers years before we actually opened, just so we did kind of have a little bit of a handle on what that would actually be like. But of course, best laid plans and actually getting in and doing the work, it's far, far more complicated than I think a lot of other retail probably has, in terms of the challenges with selling a collectible product, something that needs to arrive in sellable shape, or even better than that, collector worthy shape. Being able to anticipate the demands of our customers. Comic book publishers are doing a great job of getting the word out to the public about books that they have coming out. Sometimes those are further away from the release date. And so we're able to accommodate that. And sometimes we just have to guess. And I think that whenever you're laying out something like this, the ownership, the management, they bring some of their own sensibilities to it. But ultimately, we knew that this store was going to be driven by our customers, by our regulars. We wanted it to be open and flexible enough that we could adjust for that. And so while I thought that we would be doing a certain percentage of our business off of superhero books and some of the more traditional fare, I found out very early on that our audience is very creator based. It is people who are artists and people who are looking for interesting, diverse types of product. And so those first few months of getting those new orders in, seeing what flew off the shelves and what sat there, really gave me some wonderful insight into what type of store we were going to have. And so that was a great surprise and something that we were able to work with and work through.
Yeah, awesome. For sure. Yeah, we started very similarly, kind of basic with as much education as we could, no super preconceived notion of besides what you said, building our community, and yeah, letting that customer base and your own inventory grow organically with demand and who as an owner and who in an industry you really choose to support. I find that you can really guide and build the community that you want. For us, one of our biggest challenges beyond the figuring out this animal was just the customer base, building the community of not having had a comic book store anywhere near here for a long time. They still make comic books. So our little town in the Bay Area was very antique store oriented. It's a very cute, quaint little town. And for a time we were known as more antique stores per capita than anywhere else.
Oh, wow.
So when we were even just looking for real estate, we had our whole business plan and our LLC before we found a space. And every landlord we told the kind of shop we wanted to open. So antique comic books, new comic books. So that education piece in even just our general, very close vicinity was, and still kind of is our challenge. We've been here for 6 years and we still get when did you open? Oh, you must be new.
Right.
So the whole time and place concept with a lot of the public is kind of a constant, I don't want to say challenge, but definitely a consideration that we consistently have to be patient with.
Right. Yeah, I worked at a store, so I understand that. Those questions.
From what I hear, people in the business for 30 plus years are still getting that, so I'm not taking it personally.
No. I remember after I finished high school, I stopped reading comics. You know what happens, you fell off comics for a little bit. And I remember I'm driving in the street going somewhere, I don't even know where, but I see a sign that says shout out to my store, Corporate Comics. And I literally just stopped what I was doing, made an immediate turn to the plaza. And I was like, there's this comic store here, not so far from my house that opened 3 months ago at the time. And I was like, this is amazing. My life now I could go in such a more convenient fashion now that they're close to my house. So it was great. So I definitely have understanding where that comes from. What do you guys, you guys have kind of already touched on this a little bit, but what do you guys love specifically about owning your store?
Natasha, I'll let you start on this.
Definitely. I keep coming back to community. I just really love the family that we've built. We built it with our family in mind, but then we've built this larger family of customers and community. Even if they're not purchasing very often from us, they're still part of our family. We've really grown our organizational culture around community building. So I think that, and definitely turning somebody onto a book for the first time is just my favorite. It's my little zing moment. And especially an adult that maybe thought the comic books weren't for them or weren't for them again. I used to read comic books, but I haven't thought about it since I was 15 and now they're in their 40s. And I show them Nottingham. And it's like, oh. That's my favorite moment, is getting an adult back into comic books or into it for the first time.
Well, I thought you were going to say your favorite moment was that ka-ching sound from
Oh,
Comic
well.
Hub, just letting you know you got a web order.
I was going to say that was the little Comic Hub sound. Yep.
Exactly.
That's not bad either.
It's definitely not bad, but it is all about community, and it's all about those families and those groups that end up incorporating your store as a part of their lives. There's something really special about getting Christmas cards from people that you really know because you hand them a stack of books every other week or whatever they pop in. And I think it's easy to overlook the role that we play in a lot of people's lives in terms of being an outlet and entertainment and enjoyment. But beyond all of that really is a sense of family and community. Savannah is a tourist town. It's also a college town, and it's a creative town. So with us, we have a lot of college students at the Savannah College of Art and Design or Georgia Southern here in the area. And we have only been open a couple of years, but we've already started to see those waves of young people coming through and leaving and then coming back. And there is a little bit of comic shop dad in my heart, where I'm so proud of them and I'm so excited to see what they're doing. And because we have so many artists in town, we're able to cultivate those connections as well, whether that is through expanding the knowledge of what they do throughout the community, or just being able to spread and share that love of what we sell and what we do with others. But at the end of the day, community and family, that's absolutely what running these stores is all about.
I just want to point out, little, like you said, that we've become part of their family as well. It was January 6th of this year, and everything at the Capitol was going on, and it was a Wednesday here, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah. And I'm selling comic books. What am I doing in my life? I'm here. Yes, I know things are awful. Here's Batman, So I was really feeling a little flippant. And then one of my regular customers says, "Oh, I just really needed a mental health break today. So I came down to the comic book store." And then I realized, oh, well, we're actually providing a service for, right. We're that safe space, we're that mental health break, we're a chance to step into just a little bit of a fantasy world, and offer just a little bit of rest.
Both of you have such heartwarming responses. Those are really, really great. And like I said in the beginning, it's literally all about community, because our community and industry is so small. No, not so small. We're very tight knit, so we all kind of know each other and stuff like that. And I don't think not to say your customers, but not every comic book reader is aware of that. Mm-hmm. Right? They don't see how the sausage gets made with comic books and the distribution and all that stuff. Which kind of leads me to my next question here is what do you kind of wish more customers knew about the industry or your store, cutoffs, indie titles, anything like that?
That's such a broad, it's so broad. And I do think that it continues to get better in terms of educating customers, and that's in part due to the tools that we have as retailers now, and also to the benefit of publishers who are reaching out and who are making their products known to customers directly in terms of how to get it, what it is, and taking some of that marketing on their shoulders as well, and being a little bit broader with it. So everything you said is, depending on the exact customer, could very well apply. It is reaching out and making sure they know in plenty of time to order a book so that it gets guaranteed for them, so they don't have to worry about it. It has to do with, like Natasha said earlier, there's a big section of the population that really doesn't realize that monthly periodical comics still exist. So there is a general awareness problem that goes out. Then you can start getting just more and more micro all the way down. But at the end of the day, I really think that that gap is getting smaller and smaller for what we as retailers need to try to communicate to customers. But what I always try to impart with people that are new to it, at least, is that there's a comic book for everybody. You may not be someone who feels that you're a comic book person. That's not a part of the culture that you grew up with. You may not know what happened in X-Men number 129, and that's fine. You don't have to know any of that. There's a comic book out there that is going to speak to you. It's going to have the language and the art. That's the whole point, is the writing and the visuals going together to create something new that is going to connect to you. And it's our job as retailers and as fans of this to help those people to connect. So if I could probably say one thing, it would be that I wish more people knew that they could just pop into their local shop and just start asking those questions that they may have, because we're here for them, and we are really interested in their stories and how we can get them to connect to comics.
Mm-hmm. There are no dumb questions to ask when you're like when you're trying something new. There's no such thing. Absolutely.
What Lee said. There's a comic book, great. But I guess you don't need to start at number 1. That's my very first. Well, I would love for customers to understand. You don't need to start at 1. Yeah, I've had questions range from, what is this place? What is it? What are these, like the movies?
No.
The story. But yeah, just kind of the general knowledge. We my husband and I run the store. We talk about, we try to not get too insider baseball with customers, because I feel like part of that magic is us, is that customer service. Is you don't need to, here's the steps you need to do to get the books that you want, especially for our subscribers. Just follow those steps. You don't, and the ones that are very interested in it, who really want to know more of the industry, are the ones that ask us, about distributors and shipping and all that stuff. So we really try to stay out of the weeds with the general public of, they don't need to care.
They think they're books.
Until they do. So we try to keep our customer service as smooth as possible. So even when we're changing distributors, we try to not, try to have a seamless transition as we can for our customers. But yeah, like Lee said, I just want them to know that they can come in and find something for them, and it doesn't need to be a number 1.
Right. That's great. One thing I noticed, like as everyone knows by now, that like when the pandemic hit in the beginning, everyone like shifted, like the industry entirely shifted, and I noticed that both of you guys are Comic Hub retailers. And to those listening that don't know, Comic Hub is an online service where select stores where you could purchase comic books, trades, manga, figures from a select store and see what they have in their inventory. So it's basically like Stu Colson, who created Comic Hub, he calls it like basically like Amazon but for comics, which is pretty like the best way I could describe it as well. And it's a great tool. I recommend everyone use it. Early on in the pandemic, I actually created like 10 Comic Hub accounts for like 10 different stores, and it's like bought different stuff to support those stores. And like I said earlier, if I could, I would buy a comic book from every comic store, but there's too many of you. And the shipping costs, oh my God.
That's a work expense. You should write that off.
You know what? Maybe I should. But how has Comic Hub worked for you guys? I assume it's been doing really well.
Yeah, I mean, we've had Comic Hub since 2019, early 2019. And when the pandemic hit, I wasn't thankful for anything more than us already having been up on Comic Hub, because what's wonderful, it also drives our point of sale system and our website, and it keeps all of our inventory live. So we were able to make a very seamless transition to being able to not having customers in the actual store. So we were able to direct them how to pay for the things that they had aside online. We were able to direct them to be able to shop our inventory, our live inventory online and pay for it, and offer them shipping options or delivery options or curbside pickup. So we were really able to focus on getting our inventory out at the pandemic instead of trying to reinvent trying to build the plane while we're flying. So we ended up turning our store into a shipment fulfillment center for a short time. But and it was a fraction of what we would normally be making in store, but I was never so thankful to already have that tool in place. And it's just been invaluable for us anyway.
100%. I mean, as a newer store, we actually opened with Comic Hub. So that's the only POS system that we've ever had. So, that was part of our launch game plan, was we wanted a system that would sync our in-store inventory with our website and would provide some modern tools for people to be able to browse and shop or manage their subscriptions. So Comic Hub has a lot of really interesting features baked in. I know that we don't even use all of them that they have, but as we grow and as we continue to look at different product lines and expanding in different ways, then we're going to, see what else we can do, what else we can add on to it. But we have really enjoyed having the app available in the newer version of the Comic Hub app. If you've tried it with your old shop and you haven't downloaded the new version is really fast. It's really slick. So it allows you to manage your subscriptions right from your phone, add new books, choose your variant cover, anything like that that's a little bit more technical. And it really does put the power of ordering these things in the hands of the customer, so that I'm able to come in the morning, or my manager can come in, see the pre-orders that came in overnight, approve them, decline the people who ordered the 1 in 2,000 variants, and we're not getting those, and work through that process in a really efficient way. So for our power users, like I imagine some of the people who may be watching this, it really does give them a level of control that makes them comfortable that they're going to get the books that they want to get. And that system does include last call dates. This is the date that you have to order before, so we can guarantee this book for you. And that has done a big part of our work for educating customers, just because of the tools that we're providing for them to do self-service with. So just like Natasha, our store turned into a shipping center, just folding tables everywhere and packing material. Luckily, we had ordered 1,000 T-mailers before this thing started. Wow. I don't know what foresight that was, but we were able to send things out. And again, being very new, we were really worried that people might try to find other places to get these books, or it would desensitize them to the in-store experience just ordering online. But that community was already kicking in, and they wanted us to be there when this was all over. And they know that that means actually supporting. So we were very lucky to have people throughout the pandemic decide to, pick up that wall book they've had their eye on for a little bit, or to kick in a couple, buy that trade collection, share it with a friend, anything extra to help promote the store and help keep us around. And Comic Hub was an indispensable tool for us. And especially like Natasha, having already been using it, we weren't learning at the same time that we were trying to swim. So that really did make a huge difference for us.
Another part of Comic Hub that has really increased our sales and our presence is the marketing features, to where, I used to just use my memory to remember that so-and-so liked this artist or liked this type of book. But this one has you can drill down the actual data of your customers that have purchased items, and then be able to market or sign them up even for a different book. And that's just been completely, next level for us.
In the era when books, relaunch with a new #1 after 6 issues, I mean, being able to just push a button and move all of those subscribers over to the new title, that alone has been huge. But absolutely, being able to
takes a lot of guesswork out. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you're not missing that person. There's nothing they hate more than being missed.
Well, you guys heard it here. Comic Hub is a great tool for retailers and for customers. So please, if you're watching, go to Comic Hub, go to Zeppelin Comics and Neighborhood Comics, go to their Comic Hub store and buy a trade that you've always wanted or something along those lines. I'll be sure to do
what's cool about the hub feature too is like if you're looking for a specific thing, it will tell you what Comic Hub store will have it, and if they have mail order, I send plenty of things off to North Carolina and Chicago, and they've never been into the store, they don't know me, but they are looking for an item, and because your inventory is live online and you offer shipping, you just got a sale. So there you go.
Awesome. So we are running out of time, so I'm just going to ask one last question, and that is, what Mad Cave title did you guys enjoy the most?
For me, I actually really enjoyed Stargazer. I thought that was a really interesting title. That was one of the first books that I remember getting a retailer preview for too, and just actually having the physical book. And I do think things like that make a huge difference when retailers can actually lay hands on the product. An advanced PDF is great, but being able to see the color palette in that book, getting a real sense of the tone of it, the materials it was being printed with, that preview was really instrumental for how we ordered for the store. And so for me, that was a really nice introduction to expanding what we were carrying with Mad Cave. But I'm really looking forward to Nightmare in Savannah from the Maverick line. Yeah. So we've got a big launch event planned around that. So we're super excited about that book on down the line.
Awesome.
Yeah, very similar. Those previews, those little ash cans and PDFs are just invaluable, because that's what made me fall in love with Show's End. I don't know if you've read that one. I just really love old-timey freak show kind of weird occulty things. So that really spoke to me. But like Lee said, seeing the color palette and seeing it come together really helped engage me with the book and be able to sell it and get excited about it. And I'm excited about that new D&D book you have coming out.
Yeah, the last session.
What was it?
The last session.
The last session, yeah. I wanted to say the last roll, but
close enough.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah, we're really excited for the last session.
Yeah, that one looks really cute.
Yeah, and also we're also doing a volume 2 of Show's End, so be on the lookout.
Oh, yay!
Next year. Before we log off, do you guys have any social media you want to plug in? Please feel free.
We have our website where you can order anything in our inventory, but we also host a podcast with one of our fellow building mates who is a movie maker, and it's called Amuse. It's parentheses A parentheses Muse, and it's all about the muse of creators. So it's not just comic book creators, even though we've been instrumental in interviewing a lot of creators like Mark Wade and Tony Fleeks and Stephanie Phillips, just about the creative process. But you can also hear from musicians and movie makers and other kinds of artists. And that's been a really fun project.
Awesome.
We are at neighborhoodcomics.com and NBRHD Comics on all the social media platforms. We also host weekly live sales on Pop Shop and the Network app. So that's another great way you can actually kind of be in the store without actually being in the store. So being able to reach out and make our community even bigger is a big part of what we do. So hope you guys have a chance to check us out. And if you can't stop in person, come see us over in Savannah, Georgia.
Yay.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys again for joining me today. And thank you guys for watching this stream. Enjoy the rest of the showcase and stay on for the next panel where we interview the creative team behind one of our upcoming titles, Potions Inc. Have a good one, and thank you.
Bye.
Oh, the stream can? Well, hey, welcome back. I wish I had a little more prep than that. Welcome back to the Mad Cave Studios The thing 4.0, Showcase 4.0. I know what I'm doing right here. We're about to bring on the Potions Inc. creative team for you guys. So let me give you an introduction into the series before we go in discussing it with the creators. In order to save their parents, the potion shop, and home world of Prima Terra from the dangerous curse of the Forge Stone, 3 siblings travel to Earth, Seattle, circa 1992 to be exact. With the help of Special Agent Genevieve Garcia and the young Prima Terrans, Astra, Ron, and Asterius Jones track down the evil Canavan Goris to attempt to save their worlds. I tried my best. I hope you enjoyed, but let's introduce our guests. We have the author, Eric Burnham, is a writer and cartoonist who was challenged to start making comics on a dare back in the early aughts, and then just kept going until it became a career. He worked in just about every genre and on both creator-owned and licensed comics, and still can't believe how lucky he is to be able to do this. Our artist is Stella, a Spanish artist and cartoonist with a background on visual development for animation. They enjoy working on fantasy, sci-fi, and children's tales with a bit of spookiness to them. Some of their past works include The Wilds with Black Mask, Submerged with Vault Comics, Metaphorical Her on Webtoons, or the animation short film Johan with Dragonbait. When they're not making comics, you can find them probably doing crafts, home gardening, or studying philosophy and I'm stumbling. I got so close. I was so close, Stella. I tried. I'm so sorry. So I want to say something real quick because I was trying to go through the names of your series, and I read this book yesterday, and I read those with no problems at all. And Prima Terra, Ron, all this, and it wasn't until I had to say them out loud that I realized how difficult those are. So how are you both doing today?
I'm doing great. You can hear me, right? Okay. Yeah. I'm doing good. It's I've been escaping fall allergies by staying up and working all night. So I'm just like hoping that I don't fall asleep in the middle. But no, it's good. It's nice crisp fall weather. I'm psyched to talk about Potions Inc. Finally, we've worked on it so long ago. It seems it really wasn't that long ago, but the pandemic, you had 10 years to everything.
Well, yeah, it's not even funny because, like, we'll be sitting around here in the office and we'll bring up things. Oh, do you remember when we did that? Wasn't that forever ago? No, that was the end of 2019. That wasn't that far ago.
Yeah.
What about you, Stella? How has your day been going?
Well, it's actually nighttime here in Spain right now, so it's been a long day already. I've been trying to know which one was the right time for the showcase. Because I've been missing the time zones a lot during the week.
Oh, okay.
But it's fine because I get to talk with you, and it's my first time talking in video with Eric because we've been exchanging emails a lot, but we haven't been talking face to face.
Oh, is that what you guys were doing in the waiting room? Finally, like, kind of meeting face to face?
Yeah.
It's true.
So let me ask you this, because the next question I'm going to have is, what is Potions Inc. about? But before we get into that, how close was that at pronouncing these? Or have you also not said these out loud since creating the names?
I'm trying to think of when we actually wrapped the book, and I think the last scripts I wrote was about a year ago. So before we came on, I was like hustling to the scripts to write the names down so I didn't forget them. But no, I think you nailed the names. At least you didn't have to go with the parents because those got even more complicated. I didn't pick most of the names. I mean, you can ding me for the evil wizard, but everybody else they were part of the package before I was brought on. So
okay.
So I can't totally be blamed. But yeah,
I've met a few writers before where they'll have a project and the characters' names are like from another country that they're not from, or they've made it up entirely. And then we're trying to do an interview and I've got to say the names, and I've literally gotten the response of, I don't know how to say that. Like, if you don't know and I don't know, then we get to make it up right now. So
that's right.
Well, when I have to record the presentation for the showcase, I was like, okay, so Potions Inc., how is it pronounced in English? Because I say ink in Spanish, but I didn't know if it was the same in English. So I actually went to Google to double check before recording the video. So I don't even know how to pronounce my own book.
Well, so we're all in the same boat then, and it's a good job that you
Yeah.
did that initially,
We
because I
are.
have gotten in a few binds before where it's like, I think I know how to say this, and then you have to go. You're on scene, and you're like, all right, here we go. Wait, what did I say it was? So, okay, now we've joked enough about the names, and they're all kind of like the fantasy world kind of stuff, which should have implied to a few of our viewers as to what this book is about. But why don't you let us know, in your own words, what is Potions Inc. about, Eric?
Okay, well, let me see how I can phrase this. It's funny because part of the concept was fully formed before I was brought on. So the fact that there was another world, Primaterra, a world of magic, that was there. The name of the kids was there. The title, Potions Inc. was there. And the fact that they go to Earth, that was all there. And then everything else was beaten out between the editor, Erica Schultz, and then me, and then Stella, and even the cover artist, Natasha Alterici. We all were throwing ideas together to come up with the most fun way we could start with that foundation and build it up. And I think an initial suggestion was having them go to New York. We're like, why New York? Why couldn't we do it like some other city? Because everybody goes to New York.
Right.
So we were talking around. How about Seattle? Seattle, go to the West Coast, make it a city that you don't often see. So there was that, and then Erica and I love the '90s, so we start talking about Seattle. The '90s naturally come up with the explosion of music from there, and just every little small idea added to it. So it just became, how can these kids who use magic, what different kinds of magic can there be besides just potions, even though that's the title? That became part of the book. And, like I said, it was building a pyramid of ideas. And so, yeah, we got different kinds of magic. We got a little bit of Seattle culture. We get a little bit of, family comedy and humor. And it all just came together. I mean, I'm making it sound a lot more complicated than it is. It was really an elegant snowball how all this stuff came together. And I mean, I wish it was more deliberate. It was just us having fun and saying, hey, why don't we try this, and going from there. But yeah, some teenagers saving two worlds. I mean, that's a pretty par for the course fantasy story, and we had a lot of fun with it. At least, I mean, I did, and I hope everybody else did.
I actually really enjoyed the hook you had for that, because I wasn't going to say the Seattle thing, but now that it is in our blurb in the beginning, and you've gone over it, because I had the privilege of reading a lot of these books ahead of time, and it felt pretty par for the course going through it. I'm like, all right, they're doing potions. Potions are kind of unique. That's a different way to kind of get into the fantasy world. You didn't just dive into, this is the ranger and the barbarian. You kind of had your own spin on it, and I found that interesting. But the Seattle hook for me was like, oh, I wasn't expecting this, because I went in just reading the books initially. I didn't read the blurbs that I was given or anything. I was like, I'm just going to read the books. I want to see how immersed I get into the books initially. So that hook at the end of it did a great job. And your art for that reveal, Stella, was great, because I didn't see it coming. So turning the page to that Seattle landscape, I was like, well, not page, my PDF. So scrolling down to that Seattle landscape. Really, I was like, oh.
I spent a lot of time doing that landscape, so...
That landscape was beautiful, and I immediately recognized the area that you chose to do that in, having gone to Seattle a lot. So right away I'm like, oh, this is different. You guys aren't doing New York. We're not just doing a fantasy adventure. We're doing a fantasy adventure in 1990s. This is going to be great, like a nice spin on the concept of the whole thing. Is there anything that you want to add to what the Potions Inc. is about from the artist perspective, Stella?
No, I think Eric already did the job. I really like this mix of Terry Pratchett kind of spirit. It's very fun. It's like a classic fantasy, but it's really fun. And the family dynamics, they are like they love each other so much, but they are very dysfunctional. But there is a family that really love each other very much. And that's something I really enjoy. But I'm a 90s person because I was born in 1991. So it was really fun for me to explore all the colors and put some Easter eggs all around the book for the 90s. So yes, I think is the mix between magic in a fun and classic way with the 90s. What really brought me into it.
That right there's a great elevator pitch for it. The standard fantasy adventure, but in a 1990s Seattle, and that it like adds that spin to it. That, like I said, that's the hook that really made me be like, oh, this could be a lot of fun. I'm gonna have to read through this book. So, what can readers expect from the series, Eric?
Boy, I mean, you know, we
haven't
kind
already
of
said.
yeah, that we kind of already said. It's just, I mean, you know, it's the humor I think is a little. I mean, outside of, as Stella said, Terry Pratchett, the humor is a little different than what you normally get in a typical fantasy story. And I mean, I gravitate towards humor anyway, and enjoy putting it in everything I write. And I was encouraged to do that, which made me happy. So I mean, there's that. There's the siblings bickering. The villain bickers with his granddaughter, and he has a sense of humor. You know, I mean, he's not just a stiff-bored bad guy. You know, there's humor in the script, in the dialogue. Yes, there's also some fun humor in the art that Stella threw together, and some great ideas that she had. The one thing that is a slight digression. The one thing that I regret not being able to get in there, just because it would have been an anachronism, is I really wanted to write in them encountering the gum wall. If you know, if you've been to, you know, the gum wall didn't exist at that point in the 90s. So I'm like, no, this would have been really gross and really funny.
You can't just have them kind of like like little editor's note. It didn't actually exist, but I wanted to write
I know.
this.
It's the little OCD. I would, but we did get a lot of other fun bits of Seattle in there, and one of my favorite bits of inspiration that was not mine, that was not in the script, but was all Stella, was working in a fun little nod to a specific element of Kurt Cobain's wardrobe.
Yeah.
I love that she worked the sunglasses in there. That they worked the sunglasses in there. I'm sorry. You know, it was awesome.
Yeah, it's the sunglasses and the jacket.
Yes.
Yeah.
From Asteria.
Did you guys get to? How much research did you do on Seattle itself? Have you been over there? Do you live out there? Like, obviously, you chose Seattle over doing New York, which is what you said was the original kind of idea for this. So, how much of Seattle is in both of you?
I lived in Washington State for a year and change when I was a kid, and I've been to Seattle 2, 3, 4 times. But that's it. As far as that, other than that, it was just, you know, reading up on stuff, and like the gum wall, seeing what was there and what was available to throw in there based on, you know, what I know from my relatively recent, you know, 5, 6 years ago visits to the city. But I mean, I like. I like the general vibe of the Pacific Northwest. A little rainy, a little cloudy, but you know, it's got its own flavor, and I liked mining that.
I'm assuming you're a little far from Seattle, Stella.
Yeah, I'm the biggest friend to Google, so I've been using Google Maps a lot, Google Earth, and I'm just using some pictures that Eric and Erica sent me. But I'm always worried because the setting is the 90s. So It's not exactly the same, obviously. And there are a lot of things that have already changed since then. So yeah, I'm always worried about putting stuff that is not really there. And some readers maybe living in Seattle and coming to me like, this is not Seattle. What the hell is this? I don't know. I'm just doing my best.
Well, you've done a great job so far. I mean, not so far, but you know what I'm saying. You've done a great job. I wanted to ask a question that we don't have in the sheet here, because you had mentioned that you tweaked it from New York to be over in Seattle. Was it your decision to involve the potion, like the family of potion makers? Because that is kind of is the interesting change from a standard fantasy. Because standard fantasy would always have the warrior, the sorcerer. We'd have those characters, not the guys who make the shop and give you the potions and have the secret book of potions.
You know, that was, I mean, it was just kind of suggested by the title, again, which predated me, Potions Inc. Well, I mean, So they use potions, man. Come on, they've got a business. This makes sense,
right?
But it was just like, but yeah, no, I just play up the title as much as possible. We did we did talk about using bringing in some other types of magic just so that there will be a little bit of flexibility, a magic wand here and there or something else, so that it would just be easier to do some other things if the scene required it. You just be a little simpler. But
you don't have to have a potion for every situation.
Exactly. But no. Asteria had a bandolier just for that very reason, and Stella designed that, and it looked cool. But it was just doing something that was different was appealing, and that was something. Again, I'm giving credit to Erica Schultz, our editor. Going in different ways and unexpected ways was really something she pushed us to do. So, I mean, I'll give her as much credit as possible on that. I mean, I and Stella and Natasha, we did throw in twists and ideas and inspirations, but Erica was, like I said, she was just inspiring us as a good editor does to come up with new ways to say something old.
All right.
Yeah, I've worked with Erica many times, so I'm very used to work with her because she has already written some scripts for me in the past.
Yeah.
And I really love how she creates worlds and settings. I think she has many great ideas, and I don't know, she's the soul of Potions, really. Mm-hmm. We are all the art team, but she is like our leader. So
well, she's done a great job.
Oh, Captain, my captain.
That's it.
Who would you say is your favorite character in the series, and why? Let's start with you this time, Stella.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think mine is Asteria. Asteria is actually non-binary. I think of them like with she and they pronouns, so either is fine. And I think it's purely anecdotal. I think there's only one panel with the pronouns somewhere on the last issue, I think, but it's just something important for me. And I really love the design because the feet are really small and the head is really big, and it was just fun to draw. I did this bandolier with the little potions on it hanging around for cosplay ideas for the future fans. And I used the character also to put all the Kurt Cobain reference on the outfit. But I think we are very much alike in a way because they are very perfectionist and they can't really handle emotions really well because they are like a small person but with very big emotions, and they don't always translate very well when communicating with others. So I don't know. I think I relate a lot to the character.
I mean, it's always the best reason to have a favorite, to be able to relate to what you've created there, because you designed her, so of course, or you designed them, so of course.
Yeah.
What about you, Eric? Who is your favorite in the book?
I did like writing the entire Jones family a lot, but push come to shove, I just think I like having the character who reacts to having all the new stuff. The Jones get to react to Seattle, but Geneva Garcia, the person that they meet on the other side in Seattle, she's fun just because she's getting thrown all into the magic stuff just out of the blue, and that's always something fun to write. And I I guess I identify with characters who are suddenly out of their depth. So yeah, she's a favorite just for that reason, if no other. And I was glad that Stella, it was caught. They did catch that. We pointed out at the end the non-binary part. It was filtered throughout all of the issues. It just didn't stand out because they say they, and we didn't put a neon sign towards it until the end, the last issue. But everything else, it was it was they and nothing. I'm like, look, I wasn't even noticed. That's cool. It just went by and registered. So I mean, that's kind of what you want, right?
Yeah. Well, I didn't even catch that when I was reading through the first issue at all. So
yeah.
That's not really a moment when you stop and say the pronouns of the characters. So
Right.
it comes in like one panel in one of the last pages on the last issue.
I think that was the only one where someone said
information
hey?
in the showcase because it's something important for me, but it's not really important for the story, just for diversity and representation.
Well, yeah, I should say it wasn't challenged, is what I meant to say. Yeah, it wasn't challenged at any point until the end. It was just
Well, I mean, you did a good job with it. If it's just integrated into the story to the point where it's not challenged or anything like that, it's a great way to handle that situation. So.
Well, yeah, that's the goal. You know.
Yeah. So ultimately, who would you say that this book is for? Once again, we'll start with you, Stella. This one again.
Well, I think it's for young adult audience, but I don't really think it's only for them. I think anybody who likes fantasy and who likes the kind of fish out of the water story will probably enjoy it. I think there's a lot of people with 90s nostalgia right now. So basically anybody who likes fantasy, who likes the 90s is going to enjoy the story because it's really fun to read. I used to enjoy reading Eric's scripts a lot. So I think they are going to have fun too, I think. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, the goal, what we had talked about, was to try and make it the best kind of all ages. So a little younger can read it, they can get this. Somebody older can read it and they can get this. And so hopefully that's what it comes down to. The audience is wide, but they get different things out of the book. Yeah, that's the goal. I mean, unless you're going with something hardcore mature or very, very childish. I mean, yeah, the goal is to get as many people as possible. And again, as kind of a cop out of an answer as it is, it's true.
All right. Well, chat, if you have any questions for Eric or Stella right here, that'd be great. If you guys want to ask them any questions. But we do have our first question from the chat. Also, I'm going to throw a little fun thing to our chat here. Come up with your ideas for different potions. And we're going to see what Eric and Stella think of your idea. Maybe, I can't promise anything because I'm just a host on a live stream. Maybe it'll show up. But the question that they wanted to ask you is, what potion would you make if you could make any potion? Let's start with Stella. Let's go with you first. Any potion. Put you on the spot.
Well, I want to say something that actually lets me more time for work, but I don't think that's healthy. So
a potion that gives you more hours in the day. I will drink that potion. Wait, I can have 10 more hours of work in a day? Okay, done.
That's not healthy, right?
You know what? We'll say it's healthy because we like the idea of the potion, and we'll ignore everyone that tells us it's unhealthy.
Well, I could, if I could be more productive, maybe I could just draw more comics. So I think it's good for everyone.
Yeah, it would be. There you go. Yeah. What about you, Eric? If you can make any potion.
Oh boy, give me the one that lets me eat like I was 20 again, without the doctor yelling at me later. Give me that potion. That's what I want at this point in my life. Yeah, I want to be able to eat like a teenager again. Yeah.
I'll agree with that one as well because I love when people are like, "Oh man, I wish I was a kid again." I'm like, "No, I want to be 21 because that was when it was fun. You could do everything, and my body was still like a teenager. I could still eat and drink everything."
Yes, that would be wonderful. Heartburn be gone. Yeah.
So our chat has come up with a Rosetta potion. Learn languages. What do you think about a Rosetta potion and naming it?
I like that.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I think it's better than mine.
it would certainly be helpful. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. I kind of wish. Did we come up with something like that we didn't wind up using in the book? I'm trying to remember.
I think you had something similar to,
can't-
where they could talk in other dimensions or something like that because they didn't know
Yeah,
what the
yeah.
dimension. But I don't think it's a potion.
Yeah, it's embarrassing that I don't remember now. But I mean, at this point, it was just like I wrote that last.
Well, in your defense, I read issue 1 yesterday, so it's a little
Yes.
fresher. But you probably wrote issue 1 quite a while ago.
a little while, yeah. You know. Oh my goodness.
I like this one I just saw in the chat. Dulce de Sol potion that makes every meal feel like ice cream on a nice hot summer day.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah, okay,
that's
I'm gonna
probably
go with
fun.
that. Yeah. I don't even remember summer at this point. It was like 20 degrees when I woke up. But give me the potion that makes me feel like it's summer as well with the ice cream. Yeah, let's have that.
They're calling your potion the do-over potion, Eric.
Okay. All right. That's a better name, you know. Yeah, slap a label on it and let's get it sold.
Right. If you had to pick any of these more standardized kind of potions, which would you guys prefer? A speed potion, a focus potion, an out-of-body experience potion, or a flying potion?
Oh,
I'm going
speed.
to go. Oh, sorry.
Oh
Come
no,
on.
sorry. Go ahead, please.
I'm going to say flying potion
Flying
because
potion?
I think saying focus after talking about coffee maybe is not the best. So I just I just say flying potion. It could be so nice.
I think flying would be nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go with speed because patience is not something I was blessed with a great deal of. So yeah, speed would be great. Get things done faster, move faster. That'd be awesome. I guess that is called coffee, though, isn't it?
I mean, I've got my coffee right here off panel right now. So
yeah.
Well, I have mine too. So.
Yeah. I like this one. This one I would love. The potion that allows you to eat anything and not gain weight.
Yes. Yes. That would be good.
I'm going to call that the ultimate potion. We're just going to go with that one in general.
Please, yes. I'll take that right now.
Yes. We are currently having a few issues behind the scenes. I'm just waiting for some form of a signal. Otherwise, we're going to keep bringing up potions. Keep talking potions. All right.
I have potions merch here. Can I show it to you?
Can
like
you what?
some stickers and yeah, I have like the flyers that Matt Cape sent me the other day.
Oh, that looks awesome.
Natasha cover. It's so cool. It's the cover for issue 1.
Right.
And here's the information of potions. And I have a lot of stickers. So you have this one with Asteria. This one with Ran. Astreus.
Did you get all these, Eric? Because you
We're
look amazed.
evil characters.
No, I think Stella's off to a convention. So
okay.
That's yeah.
Because I'm just looking at your face. You're like, I haven't seen any of these things.
but I haven't been to a convention, and I live in the middle of nowhere, so a convention isn't even, in the cards for me for a bit. But yeah, no, those are cool. Those are going to go over like gangbusters.
Yeah, those all look
to,
amazing.
To give them away on Thought Bubble Festival next month.
Okay, here's a question. I'm going to tweak it just a little bit for you guys. How do you think the potions would taste? Would they taste differently? Would they all taste kind of like a one flavor fits all kind of thing?
I mean, the concept is they mix different regular ingredients. So I imagine you'd have some sweet ones and you'd have some savory ones. So yeah, no, I imagine there'd be a variety of tastes. Give me the savory ones in the morning, and then the sweet ones in the afternoon. Yeah, that makes sense.
You're pacing out your potions like the vitamins.
Pacing them out. Yes, yeah. I got to give enough time to get past the heartburn. That's why the savory ones are in the morning. and then we have the sweet nightcap. That's the goal. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for helping me stall us out. I'm sorry, Stella, but we have fixed our issues behind the scenes. So just one last thing for you guys in general. It's been a blast talking to you. Potions has been exciting from what I got to read, and I'm excited to see where you're going to go with the Seattle, the 1990s, and all of these different sweet and savory potions we're going to be bringing to the table. But it is time for us to move into our next segment right here at the showcase. I was waiting to see if you're transitioning just to me, Dan. All right. July 10th this summer, Mad Cave Studio opened up their talent search to aspiring artists and authors around the world. Out of the hundreds of entries submitted over the past few months, only 4 talented writers and 4 talented artists will win. We are going to bring on 2 members of the Mad Cave team to tell you a little bit more about the search and announce this year's winner. We have Chris Fernandez, a Mad Cave Studios publisher, and Chris Sanchez, Mad Cave Studios and Maverick editor. The Chris's have arrived. Oh, we're transitioning. There we go. We lost someone?
I'm here. My camera just doesn't seem to be participating.
If you want to turn it off and on again real quick, it should fix itself. Nope, It doesn't like us.
Yep, I did.
Well, I'm here, guys.
Oh, well, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Thank you. It's been an
Which
awesome.
of the Chris's are you? Just so I don't. I mean, I'm sure Chris will cover this, but.
That's fair. I'm Chris Sanchez.
Okay.
I'm Chris Fernandez.
And you're Chris. Okay. So Chris Sanchez is on camera. Chris Fernandez is off camera at the moment. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing all right, and I'm having a great time watching the showcase. This has been just super awesome to see everything that we've been working on for like years now at this point. Hey!
We'll get the other Chris. Yeah, you guys have done an amazing job over there at Mad Cave. The amount of stuff you've brought to the table, the new books, the new ideas, the whole team together, you've all done an amazing job. And so it's pretty impressive. Like, coming from a host standpoint and seeing all of this pretty much over the course of the last week. Like, way back in the day, I still remember like Mad Cave Studio emails way back in the beginning of Comicstorian being Battle Cats. And then to see Battle Cats go to all of this and everything that I saw at your guys' booth over in New York Comic Con, it's all incredible just to see how far you guys have come along and what you've all put together.
Thanks a lot, man. I mean, I'm not going to lie, it's been a lot of hard work. And I freaking love Battle Cats. I love that book like so much. It's like one of the biggest pleasures I have to work on. Whether it's, talking to Mark on a daily basis about what's going on in Valdyria or talking to Gio about the art, it's a real pleasure. And, yeah, I mean, that was basically like the foundation that this company is built on. So I'm super proud. Be biased, but.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and now we got to end it.
Yeah, dude, it's super satisfying.
Yeah.
So how long have you guys been doing the talent search?
I think we started in 2018.
I think 2017 might be the year.
Yeah.
I think 2017, we started it off as like a way to kind of want to give back to the community because we kind of came in out of nowhere, had to learn how to do things the hard way. Nobody, and I'm not trying to name anyone, but nobody, there's no rule book on how this is how it's done and A to Z. So we kind of figured that out on our own and wanted to kind of pass that knowledge and do what we could to help creators that we are essentially kind of boost their level. So we just put some spotlight on the creators.
Is there any particular, well, not particular, but what projects have past talent winners worked on?
There's so many at this point.
Well, how about we go with without picking favorites? Why don't you guys give me a couple? Yeah, villainous.
They Fell from the Sky. I could only grab like a handful really quick. Some recent ones. Stargazer, Anthony Cleveland, who's also did Show's End. And then the most recent one is Grim Tales, which we've been talking about a little bit. So we got everything there from creative teams like Mark London and Colin Bunn to all the talent search winners here. And you guys showed some of the trailer stuff. And one of my personal favorites, and I'm saying that because it hits close to home, it's based in Miami, is Dryfoot, and Jared Lujan was a pleasure to work with. So
I definitely get Miami vibes from that color scheme on that cover right there.
That was the point, man. I'm glad you picked up on that.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is about Miami, but it gives you just that neon vibe. Whenever you see neon, those colors, the purples, the yellows, it's just like, okay, that's Miami.
It's real. It's real. That Miami Vice color scheme, pink and blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always cool to see also like people grow, like coming from Dryfoot, and Jared's now doing other books for other publishers and doing like amazing work in the industry. Lizel continues to be like an amazing colorist, but also now has writing credits, and it's just super cool to see that like people getting their first shot and then continuing and growing in this industry, because I think that's what the talent search is. And growing that has been just super fun.
It sounds rewarding doing it. What were the submissions like this year?
Bountiful.
Yeah.
I think Mark touched on that at the beginning of the entire showcase, where I was like, was it a little overwhelming how many of you guys ended up getting?
Yeah, we were kind of expecting it, so it didn't like exactly catch us by surprise. Each year, the submissions have been growing and growing, and this year was no different. So
it was a lot more varied this year.
You're totally right about that.
I think it was a lot more varied this year as far as like the styles of artwork that we got, and even the styles of scripts that like some were very fun, some were like super dark, and it was just like very like a lot more varied. It was interesting.
Do you think this isn't on our question sheet, but with a year like 2020, do you think it influenced a lot of your guys' submissions for this year?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of creative outlets, kind of people, be it artwork or writing, a lot of things were inspired by what we all went through in the last year.
I think it allowed people to maybe be more open, and like, and especially if there were Woven Heart submissions, and it allowed people to just like go crazy a bit, like go like out there, like especially like playing with history and time travel. Like it just allowed everyone to, I think, take a breath and just like open up like their creativity. It was really interesting to see.
Being stuck at home for practically an entire year lets the creative juices flow. You're not feeling tapped anymore.
I think you could tell people were really excited about the opportunity this year, and especially like the responses we got. Like, I know I can even think of one right off the top of my head that they really appreciate the opportunity, because they were. This is actually a similar story to a previous talent search winner, David Galliano, but then this guy was about to quit comics. Just wanted like one more opportunity to like showcase what he could do. So definitely, I think the pandemic had played an impact on people's creative juices, like you said.
All right. What is your guys' process for reviewing all of these entries that come in?
Oh, we take Chris and I kind of split it. We've been working together for so long. We know what each other likes. We know what each other likes. We kind of split it, and then we split them into folders. Into Chris, please review these. I like this. I like the submission. Check it out. Let me know what you think. And usually on both sides, art and writing, we pare down to about 8 to 10 each. And then from there is like the real tough part, where you have to like decide between people you feel strongly about both. You know what I mean? But the reality is that we select 4 of each, and them's the rules, man.
Them's the rules. That's always the best way to put it. That's the rules. I'm sorry. All right.
Yeah, some years are easier. Oh no, some years I think are easier than others. We've noticed that where it's like, okay, we have solid. These are the ones we have. But I think this year we had like we had like 2 meetings or something, where we had 2 meetings where we were like deciding, okay, these are the ones that we need to do, and if there was anything, it was tough choices, but I'm just super proud of what the community has done, and to put their work out there. And I know a lot of these people are gonna, maybe if they didn't get in this year, they're gonna keep on coming in. I mean, we've got a few. I think we got a couple winners, I think, this year, who have submitted before, and that's another huge part of this, is that we see submissions from past years, and we see how far they've come and grown, and it's like that's another huge thing of just like, okay, that's great to see.
Definitely, like the growth is something major that we noticed. I remember Jared, speaking of Dryfoot, he had submitted previously, didn't win one year, and then the next year made a submission and won, and he wrote Dryfoot. And then I think a little bit more that went into the process this year was really looking for different art styles, different writing styles, that all that aren't so similar. I think you're going to be really surprised when we announce, not surprised, but I think you're going to be excited when you see the winners, especially for the artists, because it's easy to tell right away that how varied they are in their styles, and they all pull it off. Easily. I'm really excited about this year's talent search, and especially what we plan to do.
Well, I think that's the best segue ever, because I think everyone in our chat at this point is waiting for the big announcement. I don't know which one of you wants to do it, but the question I have next on my list: who won?
You want to handle the writers, and I'll handle the artists?
Sure, that's good. Is a graphic going to pop up? Or do
I
you
was
want
wondering that myself. I'm getting a no from the production team. We do not have graphics, apparently.
All right, so everybody listen close.
Yeah, everyone really listen close.
If somebody wants to type it out, great.
Yeah. So for writers, we have Dylan Essex, Sabs Cooper, Anna Everts, and Damian Becton. And I apologize if I mispronounced anything, but congratulations all those people. I'm sure there'll be a graphic up on social media where you can find their socials and everything, and please congratulate them. This is a huge thing, and I'm super pumped for the community.
Congratulations! All right, so that was the writers, right, or the artists?
Yep, that was the writers.
Okay, so you have the artist, Chris.
All right, and for the artists, again, very, 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 very. We have Rafael Romeo Magat. Woo, finger snaps, right? Can you do that now? Gabriel Serra. Woo, Federico Bertoni. Woo, and Miguel Puerta. Congratulations, you guys.
Congratulations to our winners. I apologize we did not have a graphic up and running for you guys, but I hope you heard your name. And if you were questioning because you were disconnecting or you couldn't hear it through the echo or whatever, social medias will be making those announcement follow-ups pretty soon. So
yes, social media can happen. And also I think we can put them in Twitch chat. Just so everyone in chat knows. So yeah, I'm super excited and pumped for everyone to get to working on this stuff.
Everyone deserves it. Every one of them deserves it. The artists were phenomenal. The writers all had very different types of stories. I mean, from fun, like what-if adventures to, deadly serious reinterpretations of classic tales, everything in between. We're really, really excited. And again, a couple of you guys have submitted before and didn't win in prior years. You guys know who you are, but you're winners this year, and that's all that counts, man. So congratulations. Pat yourself on the back. You deserve it. You deserve it.
Yeah, and for those who didn't win, again, we're going to be doing this every year, and like you said, we've Anna this year submitted before, and I liked their pitch last year, and it just didn't make the cut, unfortunately. But they submitted again this year, and they won this time, and it will definitely happen if you keep working at your craft and keep reading good comics and be a part of this community. That's what it's going to be, and it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, congratulations to everyone who won. This is an amazing opportunity you guys are giving everyone. As coming from someone who's been kind of around the comic scene for 8 years and dip my toes in trying to figure out how to write and stuff like that, it is a very difficult path, and your guys' talent search is it's a good way to get back to the community and a great way for you guys to allow people to have an opportunity to get into the industry, because it's just the comics industry in general has this wall in front of it of trying to be a part of it. So
yeah, it's unfortunate. I get it, but again, there's a lot of voices out there, and a lot of them, most of them, all of them deserve to be heard. So.
All right, and at that point, I believe we're going to cut to the ending. Thank you so much, both Chris's, for being here today, Chris and Chris. And I'm going to send off our stream. I'm sure I'll be talking to you guys again.
For sure. Later.
Congratulations, guys.
Yeah, congrats.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us for today's Mad Cave Studio Showcase 4.0. And congratulations again to our winners of the Talent Search. I want to put out a quick thank you to the team, Allison, Chris, Manny, Frank, Mark, Gio, and the rest of the Mad Cave crew. And thank you to each and every one of you who joined us for today's stream, and for all of you who are following us on Twitter, for everyone who's following on the publication arm in general. You guys are great, and Mad Cave exists because of fans like you being a part of this community and joining in on events like this. And you can follow Mad Cave Studios on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. They're going to be putting up, the mods will be putting up a thing in there, !follow, to give you guys an idea of how you can be a part of this community. If it's your first time here, Mad Cave likes to stream every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And this Wednesday, upcoming, they'll be doing a live drawing hosted by Sage Ryan and artist Lucia Russo of Pay the Piper. And I believe the mods are doing it, but if you are curious who I am, I'm Benny, the Comicstorian. You can just Google Comicstorian. You'll find me all over the place in the world of comics. I just talk a lot about comics. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. You've all been incredible. Chat has been lively. I've loved seeing your reactions and your energy, and it's because of you that this has been a great stream today. We will see you Wednesday. Thank you, and have a good day.